Hi, everybody, and welcome to episode 138 of Games My Mom Found. I am Mike Albertin, and who's with me tonight?
Hey, this is Kerry, Carusetta on Twitch, and I play Konami games.
I am Joseph Butler, the king of useless knowledge, but please call me Joe.
And the other exoskeleton soldier, Red Fox.
Those are all good, guys. And before we go too far, I do want to mention this is when you're hearing this episode, this is your last chance to vote in the anime Patreon poll that we have. For as little as $1, you can go on our Patreon and go vote, because you literally have like 3 days before I close the poll on the 1st of the month, of next month. So go vote. You can right now. It's right. We have Cowboy Bebop, Outlaw Star, Case Closed, and Akuma no Riddle. We're doing the first episode, our pilot test thing where we just cover the first episode. So, and Cowboy Bebop is not winning. So if you want to change that for as little as $1, you can vote and change that, because I really want to cover Cowboy Bebop, and I thought it would win for sure, and it's not, and I'm sad. So please go fix that. All right, and I should introduce what we're talking about. And I brought these for these three other gentlemen to join me. We are talking about a game that some people like and some people hate. Metal Gear Solid: The Twin Snakes for GameCube that came out in 2004. Made by Silicon Knights. Remember those guys? Yeah. If you don't, that's okay. No one does. They don't remember themselves anymore because they don't exist.
Yeah.
They went defunct in 2014.
Is that all they've made?
No, we've actually covered, this is the third game that they made that we cover on the covered on the show. They did Blood Omen, Eternal Darkness, Metal Gear Solid, Twin Snakes, 2 Human, and X-Men Destiny. Okay, no, we covered 4 of their games now, for some reason. And they did 3 on DOS, and 2 on DOS and 1 on Amiga, which I will not be covering.
Are they not? Is it the same Silicon? Am I thinking of the right company that helped design the N64?
I can't remember if they were involved.
I thought that was Silicon Knights that were involved in designing the N64, hardware. I could just be spouting misinformation now. So
no, I can't. I don't see. Well, I don't see it on their wiki when I'm just reading.
Okay, I'm sure I'm thinking of something else.
Maybe Rare.
Oh, I don't know.
Okay.
Not Rare.
So I brought all 3 of you on because all 3 of you, I think, have a history with Metal Gear, I'm assuming, at this point, because you signed up for this episode.
Yeah.
So first I want to say, Kerry, what's your history with this game?
Well, this is my first time playing the GameCube version, but the Metal Gear series is one of my favorite series of games, and Metal Gear Solid for the PlayStation is probably in my top 20 games ever. So I am a Metal Gear fan, but this is my first time playing this version.
Okay. What about you, Joe?
It's also my first time playing the GameCube version. I'm also a very big Metal Gear fan, and I have a very soft spot for the game because I got a horrible case of the chicken pox as a kid, and my cousin decided to bring in his PlayStation with Metal Gear and Resident Evil, so I had to sit there and watch him beat that all weekend.
Those are 2 good games, though.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So at least he wasn't playing Siphon Filter or some other, some garbage like that.
Yeah, but I love the entire series, and it's very jarring playing the series backwards.
Yeah. We've been slowly on this show going through each of the Metal Gear games, very slowly. We started with Ghost Babel for some reason, because me, but yeah, I love the series. And what about you, Rich?
Well, you were kind of there for a good amount of it, but I kind of stumbled across it by accident. We had that middle school friend back then, Todd, and we would borrow games of each other. And he kind of forced this one on me. I didn't want to play it. I was like, oh, the case looks kind of bland. It just had Metal Gear Solid in red letters. That was the old PlayStation cover for it. I was like, oh, that's so boring. And popped it in, and the game kind of changed my life from that point on. And eventually you got Twin Snakes, and I played the hell out of that at your house, and just kept it going from there. It's a series I've always loved.
I still have that copy, but I bought Twin Snakes it was one of the games that I bought after I went and sold papers on the corner.
Yeah.
For a day. And then I made enough money doing that to go pick it up for 30 or 40. I remember that. And now the game's $120 on eBay.
Mm-hmm.
It is not cheap.
So I have a weird question then.
Sure.
Has anybody played the first Metal Gear and Metal Gear 2 before this?
I have played Metal Gear 2 Solid Snake and did an episode about it on the show.
Oh, okay.
I never played Metal Gear 1 yet.
Yeah, neither have I.
I have played Metal Gear 1, yes. I didn't beat it, though, I don't think. No.
You played 2 also.
Obviously.
The NES version or the original?
It's on the NES.
Oh, no, the NES, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. The MSX, the one for the MSX computer, that's the original one, they actually included that, a version of that in a Metal Gear Solid 3, I think either Subsistence or, yeah, I think Subsistence. So I have those. I have them like on my computer, ready to play, and I just haven't gotten around to it.
They're also on the Metal Gear Solid HD collection or the Legacy collection for PS3.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Only on PS3. But yeah, they're also
not on the
they're worth
360
playing.
version. Yeah.
At least two Solid Snake, which if you play that game, then you play Metal Gear Solid, he stole so many things from 2 and he just put in Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah.
Like the elevator scene, so many different scenes were in Metal Gear 2, he just repeats them again.
Yeah.
Because
Metal Gear 2 is
MSX.
the one is Metal Gear 2 not canon, or is it Ghost Babel that's not canon?
I think
Ghost Babel's not canon.
Ghost
and
Babel's
Snake's,
not canon. That's right.
Snake's Revenge is not
Yes.
canon, right?
Right.
No.
Well, I think that neither of the NES ones are technically canon because they changed so much. But
Yeah.
They retconned the shit.
Yeah.
Hell, they retcon thing in this game too. There's things
Well,
that,
yeah,
They did.
that happen here that weren't in Metal Gear 1 or 2 that Kojima made. That he changed. Like
yeah.
there's one part where he says, in Big Boss's dying breath, he told me he was his dad. No, he lit him on fire and he burned. He didn't say nothing.
Yeah.
He just screamed.
Well, there's explanations towards that in other games,
yeah.
which
That's
may
true.
technically make sense and also still don't.
Yeah, I was watching a video breakdown a couple of days ago, actually, of the differences between the MSX and the NES version, and I didn't realize, man, they changed so much. Like, massively different game. It's interesting.
I'm assuming I Fell Asleep is not in the MSX version.
I don't think so. I mean, like, massive. The NES version is way less stealthy. Just that alone.
Someday I need to play the original one in MSX also for this show.
I really do.
Same.
Yeah. Well, like I said, since it's included with those 2 collections, that's good. So you don't have to go buy an MSX from Japan.
I wouldn't do that anyway, but yes. So, as like the thing about this game is, as people should know, this is a remake of the 1998 version of it. I like the fact that they kept the script mostly the same. It's the same areas, the same game. It just they put a nice HD code paint on it, made it look pretty, updated everything, and gave it just cutscenes that would fit in with the Matrix. But I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I like there were so many quality of life enhancements to it that just made it. I was blown away. I was like, I didn't realize, like, this is kind of the way to play. I mean, you should play the original 2 just so you can, but this was like way more playable, I guess you could say.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. Like if I had to choose between the 2, I would just go with Twin Snakes.
Yeah, 100%.
Well, the first person thing, which in some ways breaks the game, as we'll talk about as we go through it, but I like it. Like when I was a kid, I was terrified of the original MGS. I couldn't play it. I tried. I sucked at it. I didn't like it. But when MGS2 came out and I was forced to watch it many, many times by someone named Rich, and I got into it. And then when this came out, I was so excited because this was the first way that I experienced Metal Gear Solid 1 myself, was playing Twin Snakes, because I couldn't play the original. I just sucked at it. It wasn't until a couple years ago when I did it for the show I finally beat the original game.
It's also like the hardest one to like play and find, because pretty much every other one you can pretty much either play on the computer, or you can there's always the Xbox store and everything else, but this and Metal Gear Solid 4 are like the weirdest to play for yourself.
Because they're not re-released.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to basically, unless you have the original hardware, you've got to pirate it to be able to play it.
Yeah, and it's not coming back out. I mean, it's Nintendo.
No.
I mean, and with Silicon Knights being defunct and not a good company and all the other and the fact that this is probably wrapped up in a few different. Because Konami published it, but with Nintendo, I mean, I'm sure Nintendo had something to do with it. You're looking at Nintendo, Konami, Silicon Knights that no longer exists. So, yeah, this is never going to get re-released, and that to me that's terrible, because games need to be re-released. Like, just throw them on PC. Once you put them on PC, they're on PC forever. But Nintendo is never going to let this go anywhere. And
I'm generally anti-piracy, but when a company refuses to release something, then all bets are off. So,
like this and Eternal Darkness, I mean, those games are never getting re-released. So if the only way you want to play it is any way you can, and that's like you don't have a choice with this. And this title is $120 on eBay.
That's ridiculous.
It's awful.
It's just dumb.
Yeah, it's not. It's a good game, but
yeah.
In my opinion, no game is, unless you're just some guy who loves collecting. Like, I mean, I've spent money on comics, so but it's got to be like, it shouldn't just be like, hey, I want to play this, so I'm going to go on eBay and give some guy, $120 because he's been sitting on it for 10 years.
Yeah, no.
And hopefully sends me the actual game and not, a piece of pizza.
So that's one of my things when it comes to this. But like the way that this game starts off, because it pretty much reenacts the first game perfectly of Snake being, on the little sub thing, and he's going underwater and he's heading to Shadow Moses. All that still is so good. And the fact that they got all the voice actors to come back from the original game, which again, that must have been an impressive feat.
So it's re-recorded dialogue. They re-recorded it.
Yes, at least the cutscene. Maybe I don't know about the codecs. I think the codecs are just the exact same thing, just plugged from the first game, but I could be wrong.
I think some of the actors on the codecs are a bit different, like Mei Ling and stuff like that.
Oh.
And Naomi, because isn't she British now?
I got nothing.
Oh, I didn't even know that. I didn't even think about that. The one difference that jumped out at me at the very beginning is you don't get the Police Knots theme in the middle, because that's when you start up Metal Gear, it does a doot 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 doot. As it's putting up I think it's when it does the PlayStation logo.
Oh,
it does the just the beginning of the song from Police Knots, which is one of my favorite video game music. Yeah, it's one of my favorite video game songs.
No, it does that.
It didn't in the GameCube version?
Yeah, if you don't press anything as soon as the game starts up, it rolls out. It plays it while they're looking at the sub.
Oh, I didn't hear it. I must have somehow skipped it. Oh my gosh. I was like, no Police Knots. What's going on? It was already ruined.
That's cool. They still kept it in. I mean,
that
Police
is cool.
Knots
I'm glad to hear that.
It's such a unknown game too. Like most people don't even know what that game is. I vaguely do. I've never played it yet. Did they even come to America?
No. Yeah, no, it's Japan.
I have it on PlayStation.
On Police Knots?
PS4. Yeah, PS4.
Oh, they released a digital version?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's awesome.
I would totally play that sometime soon.
Yeah, I'll say I have it on my my PlayStation Classic, my modded PlayStation Classic. But
I actually have yet to try it, so if you ever do a podcast on that, let me know.
Okay, I don't think it's not showing up that it's on PS4 or any North American release. When
might not be available anymore. It's I haven't played it yet, but I watched a full Let's Play of it. It's interesting. It's an interesting game.
Well, I know who to talk to when I eventually do it someday now.
There you go.
It's been on my list because we did Snatcher a long time ago, and I've been meaning to do that one too.
Oh yeah,
someday. But just everything with the opening is so good still. Like in that room is such a good little intro room. Even on this version, I mean, it's still not the same because you can just aim and shoot them right in the face. But which I did. One thing I love about this game with the first person, because in the original game, I only had a gun because I played this on very easy. So I start off with the tranquilizer gun because that's how I play games. So I mean, I start out the gun. As soon as I see them walking toward me, they go, "Oh, what's that?" And they get a bullet to the head. That's it. That's the end of that. Or a bullet to the leg. It doesn't matter. I'm very easy. They just fall asleep. But that's what made this game so playable for me when I was younger. And for this episode, is that it's if you want to just enjoy the story, you just want to enjoy the game, you can. It gives you the tools just to enjoy it. I love that in a game.
Yeah, that's that first person view is it's it may break it, but it also, man, it's so much better because I didn't necessarily abuse it, but it's just so much more convenient. You
can shoot out cameras, which you can't do in the original version. You have to only do chaff grenade.
Right, exactly. And so shooting out cameras in the original, could you shoot the cameras with the sniper rifle in the original?
I don't know.
I mean, I feel like you could, but it's one of those things where it's been so long, and I'm just like, I realized playing this, I was like, so much of what I remember about Metal Gear Solid, I'm remembering from playing 2 and 3, like features like that.
I don't know if they had the ability to damage cameras in the original PS version.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it's just chaff grenades.
Yeah.
Which chaff grenades are useful in this game?
Oh yeah,
I barely used them.
They have such a large radius too. I mean, I think, and I'm not sure if it's in both versions, but I feel like with the chaff grenade, basically, if it goes off, then anything in your even remote vicinity, like that floor, pretty much goes out.
Oh, the entire room.
Yeah, I mean, as
long as you don't zone out, right?
Yeah, as long as you don't zone out. So rooms adjacent, through walls and stuff, the cameras are turned off and stuff. It looks like, and specifically the one with the electric floor and the poison gas. I dropped a chaff grenade in that hallway, and the cameras in the rooms next door went off. So
that's another thing that I like about this game is that each difficulty is different. Because when I did that, I had no camera gun because I was playing on very easy.
I had such a hard time on that electric hallway. I did not think to use a freaking chaff grenade.
Oh yeah, that makes it. Yeah, the chaff grenade makes it way easier.
I didn't even think about that.
That's another thing that's so great about Metal Gear. In this game, I think encompasses it very well. Like just the way that it handles itself. Like I was, like just things that they kept from the original, like the same thing where if you walk in a puddle, people can see your footprint and follow your footprint. Doesn't matter if you shoot them in the face, but I like the fact that that's there. It never happened to me in this game where anyone followed me because I just shot them in the face, but I like the fact that it was there.
So Kojima's always been like a really weird guy about games and stuff like that. And like my favorite weird tidbit about him is there was a horror game he wanted to release for the PlayStation or for the computer, and it would use the heat of your computer to make the disc smell like blood.
I've never heard that.
Yeah, it's an interview, and like his people that worked under him were like, Kojima, we can't do that, sir. Oh, okay.
I love that's the great, people have negative things to say about him, whatever, but he always takes big swings. He never does the easy thing. Every game is a big swing. Oh, everyone loves Solid Snake. Cool. You're going to play as Raiden. Okay. You love Solid Snake? Fuck you. You're big boss. All right, fine. You want to be Solid Snake? All right, fuck you. You die of old age. You're going to die of old age. All right. Screw you. It's just
let's also release a demo for MGS2 where you play solely as Snake and then the full game comes out.
Yes. People are like mad, and I understand why people are mad about that, but that is one of my favorite things that anyone's ever done in video gaming because it's just the perfect just middle finger to whiny
There
fans.
was a collective just of every fan just, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
And that game is great though.
Oh, it is so good.
Game,
so good.
Sure.
Even though I'm not a fan of Dead Cell, like that group of that little group of bosses are idiots compared to Foxhound.
Yeah.
But you don't like a vampire who can bend bullets around her? No?
I'm okay with the vamp. Well, the fortune is just stupid because when you find out, we'll get there eventually and cover that game. But like a fat guy with roller skates, okay? Like, come on.
Yeah.
Do y'all do a lot of codec calls in the game?
Not this time because I was in a rush this time. I played through this game in like 5 sittings, so I didn't do them this time. But normally I do like every possible codec conversation I can. Yeah.
There's a codec call in 2 where Raiden asks Snake about Vamp, and he's like, "Do they call him Vamp because he's a vampire?" And like straight face Snake goes, "No, they call him Vamp because he sleeps with dudes."
Wow. I don't think I ever saw that one.
I don't think I have either.
I don't remember that one either.
That's all right.
Well, speaking of like codec calls, in this game when I played through it, I only did the ones that I had to, that the game wouldn't make me, or when they would talk to me, I don't reach out to anyone myself, except for Campbell at one point when I was trying to fight Psycho Mantis and not do it the trick way.
Oh, okay.
But I just, like, there's one character you don't even, I think her name, is it Natasha, that you don't even have to talk to unless you actually seek her out?
Is she like the bomb expert or something, or like the nuke expert?
I think so. Something about weapon, but I never talked to her because the game doesn't make me, so I just ignore her.
Yeah.
Wait, who is the animal expert? I thought there was one of them that's like an animal expert that tells you about the rats and stuff at the beginning.
No, that's 3.
Oh, is that 3? Oh, no, yeah, I didn't talk to her very much either. One thing that I didn't realize until after I had already finished, and then I was looking at like the controls finally after I finished, was that I was pressing the A button to get through the codex, and that just makes it go and skip to the end of the codex. And if you press the B button, that makes it let you just like, go through at your own reading pace. Like in the original, that's, you press like X and it lets you sit there and clip through the codex so you can just kind of skim it. And so I kept missing what they were saying because I would press A to forward it because it was too slow. And I was like, oh, damn it. What did he say? And I'd have to call him again and then sit there and listen to the whole thing.
That could be annoying.
I'm sorry, Kerry. Did you say the A button? I'm only familiar with the action button and
So
the action button. Yeah.
I played this on a game controller that was USB, and because that's how I play every GameCube game now. When I play them, I use a fake GameCube controller.
That's a good way to do it. Yeah.
Well, it's also just because you have to, because it's one of those controllers that is just so weird. Still, like it just doesn't. It's just a strange controller. Big A button, small.
I used an Xbox One controller, and I kept the B button on the GameCube is where the X button is on the Xbox controller. So I kept it would say to do something, and I would press the wrong button over and over and over and over and over again. I
would forget what the action button was.
Yeah,
I just wasn't. I don't know. I had issues in this game where I'd forget what was doing what. Like I would meant to crouch and I would shoot instead, or I would mean to do something else.
I kept doing that.
Shoot.
I kept meaning to use an item, and I would shoot my gun and set off the alerts. Yeah.
I've always been confused by one of the early things in this game that I still don't. I don't like the stuff with Decoy Octopus, where you go into that initial room, which kind of gives you a big like dump of story where you run into the DARPA chief, who's not the DARPA chief. But I've always I wish there would have been a boss fight with Decoy Octopus instead of just that scene where you go in a cell and he just talks to you and then dies from a heart attack.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. I don't like it.
Could have been interesting. I think maybe what you could do of Decoy Octopus wouldn't be super different from like Psycho Mantis controlling Meryl, the idea of like having to fight an ally, someone you think is an ally kind of thing. But maybe they could have done something neat with it.
Or just not have that scene altogether.
Have him impersonate Gray Fox and attack you at one point.
Maybe something, or just be a room with a bunch of people and you have to figure out which one is him and which one are clones or something, or do like mannequins, something. I mean, I don't know, something better than...
If he impersonated Gray Fox, he'd have to take his blood too, though, wouldn't he?
Oh, that's true.
I don't understand.
Oh, he could impersonate you.
Why you need the blood to impersonate somebody when all you're doing is sitting in a cell trying to get them to tell you something that, I don't get why you need the blood for.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things we don't understand what Foxhound does. It's just complicated.
Yeah, it's especially once you've played through the series and you're like, after the events of Metal Gear Solid 3, Peace Walker, and Metal Gear Solid 5, how that gets from there to Metal Gear and then Metal Gear Solid is like, wait a minute, this doesn't seem to fit. This seems like things took a really bad left turn right after Metal Gear Solid 5.
Well, you see, with the technology, things get blown up and we don't know how they work anymore.
There you go.
Like the whole story of this is that you're on like this little base in Alaska, or not that little, but you're in this base in Alaska that these terrorists took over, which is just a group of special forces, which I like Foxhound. I think they are great bosses. And besides Decoy Octopus, they're a great group of characters because you have Decoy Octopus, you have Psycho Mantis, which is a psychic. You have Sniper Wolf, which is a sniper. Vulcan Raven, a guy that carries a giant cannon on his back. Like, it's good characters.
And of course, Revolver Ocelot.
He became way too big of a character in the series, I think. But
I like him in this one though. I like him a lot in 3 also. It was actually kind of neat to play this first and then 3 and it kind of go back and be like, oh wow, he was like he was really different, but in a way that makes sense. It's like, oh, I can see how this guy from 3 became this guy from 1. I get it.
He really got to shine in 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't really shine. I mean, okay, he's still good in this game, even when he loses a body part.
Yeah.
I also was amused. Like, I had forgotten a lot of the stuff with Meryl. Like the fact that Meryl, she's in the cell next to you when you're talking to the DARPA chief, and after he dies, she breaks out.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's a scene where you can go and watch her, and there's something like pervy happens if you sit there and stare at her vent or something.
Yeah, if you go back, then she's wearing progressively less clothes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did not do that, but
I didn't either.
I was reading about it.
It's just Kojima's. I mean, I played enough Kojima games at this point. There, he's perf. But
I mean, even the little codec conversations where they kind of make like sexual comments or innuendos, that's everywhere in the game.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it is like he was very much like every Kojima, everything is all about what movies he was into at the time, and so you watch this and it really does, like, Solid Snake really does fit as Snake Plissken if he was a mercenary instead of a criminal. Yeah, convict or whatever, and it does have like a lot of the same, the kind of the style of like cheesy 80s action movie, American action movies. Like a lot of the way it treats women as well.
Even his voice is very similar.
Yeah, well, that's definitely what they were going for. I mean, even went as far to give him the character an eye patch eventually.
Right.
And like one other thing about this whole plan of the terrorists. So their whole plan is to take over this base, threaten a nuclear bomb, and they want $1 billion and a body of a dead guy, a big boss, which I don't think there should be a body considering he was burned to a crisp, but hey, I mean, I guess there is.
And they added on as the story went, the fox dye vaccine.
Right. Well, I thought that was a good twist. And then it turns out at the end well, no, you go ahead. It's fine.
But the thing is, like, their whole plan, they don't even have the codes because they get the code from one guy, but they kill the other guy before they get his code. So their whole plan is to get Snake to tell them what to do or something.
Yeah, well, I mean, that was the problem is they didn't mean to kill the guy. So they thought they could get the codes before they killed him. That's how I understood it.
Yes.
But also they're winging it.
at the end, it also turns out like they're not going to nuke a civilian center. They're going to nuke a nuclear test site where no one will get hurt, so that then the U.S. will have to acknowledge that Metal Gear exists and that they have this weapons program that violates international treaties. And so it's like, I'm like, at the end of it, I'm like, I'm not completely unsympathetic to Foxhound in this. I actually get where they're coming from a lot, especially like I get where Liquid Snake is coming from on it. I think it's actually like when you get to the end of it, it actually is a pretty good story. At first, it just seems like kind of cheesy. And then as it goes, you're like, oh, this actually is interesting. It's an interesting take. And then, of course, at the end of the game, where it puts up the message about nuclear weapons. and this version, it had a updated as of 2003 thing on it.
That was cool.
Yeah.
Well, the whole idea is that they're all dying. That Liquid Snake and all of them are going, well, not all of them, but Liquid Snake and the Geno Army, which is all the men that you're fighting, are dying because they're all clones of Big Boss or something to do with genetics with Big Boss, I think.
But more so, they are designed to die so that the U.S. government wouldn't have to deal with them. So it's like extra. It's like getting into the how we treat veterans kind of thing. It's like it's way deeper than I think a lot of people think it is.
Oh no,
it's dumb as it can be.
At the end of the day, like when you go through this entire game, the real enemy in this is the government.
Yeah.
You don't trust the government. Otherwise, you get into what you get with this game.
Which I feel like that's a theme that doesn't ever go away either.
Oh, no. Kojima's games get really deep. The whole point, which is the start of this, is what I feel is every game gets closer to like the what can we do to just throw people out at war? Because you have the genome soldiers, which is a weird plot hole. It doesn't make sense, which I'll probably get into later. But it's supposed to be a way of like them not having to have people trained to go, and it goes further on throughout the series to where like in Metal Gear Solid 4, they just have nanomachines, and that's how they can read each other's minds and know how to do tactics, and everyone's assigned a weapon and all this other weird stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, they do give people some strange. I mean, but I like the fact that the team of Foxhound, the bosses are all like, have their certain qualifications.
Mm-hmm.
And I still think Sniper Wolf is a way better sniper than the end. So.
Yeah, well, and I love. I mean, that's what I like. The conceit of Peace Walker and 5 is that you're going around recruiting these these special hand-picked people like that, which I like a lot.
Other than Decoy Octopus, I like them all.
Isn't there a dude in Metal Gear 2 that's like Hot Coldman or something?
That's Peace Walker.
I remember that name.
Peace Walker.
Is that Peace Walker? Yeah.
That's Peace Walker. Yeah, that's a weird game sometimes.
Yeah, I have Peace Walker. I've read about it, but I haven't played it yet. That's one that's on my to-do list right now.
Same. It's going to be on the show someday.
Trying to decide if I'm going to play it on my computer or on my PSP.
Computer. You don't want to play on a PSP.
Either way, it's definitely worth a play.
Yeah, I'll say I still use my PSP a lot, to play NES games.
Just like it was made for.
Yeah.
That's just what Sony wanted you to do, play other people's games.
No, I love somebody went to E3 and got to interview Miyamoto, and we're like, hey, check this out, and showed him a PSP playing Super Mario Brothers, and he was not amused.
Well, why would you go and show somebody piracy?
It was a journalist. It was a journalist. It was just like, yeah, no, check this out. And he's like,
I mean, I love it as a consumer, but I wouldn't go and show the creator, like, hey, look what I can do. I can pirate.
Yeah.
Look how I took money out of your pocket.
I don't know. Miyamoto's gotten my money for that game like 5 times at this point.
Yeah.
That's it?
It's not like they like money anyways.
Yeah.
Like, hey, they're not releasing this anytime soon again, so,
Yeah.
And there's just some other stuff, like, when it comes, like, the way that this game progresses, like, when you first meet Meryl and all the stuff that happens with her, I think I like it, I appreciate it more. Like, the whole fact that he's like, you got rookie eyes. And just the way that initial reaction goes and how, she's really green. And then she just kills people. Like, because right after you meet her, you have the whole scene of where she doesn't really want to fight. And she just starts gunning down these guys that are all running into the jail cell with you, or into the jail.
Yeah, but then she's messed up from it, too. She's like, appropriately upset at what she's done, which I thought was interesting.
No, I mean, because you would be. I mean, you just come down, you're forced to kill 12 guys. I mean, yes, their bodies disappear and fade away, but still.
I love her screaming when she does it too, and she makes the big circular motion because she doesn't really know how to shoot.
Yeah.
It's good. it's still like I watched all the cutscenes in this playthrough. I listened to all the codec calls that the game initiated, and so I was just because I wanted to play it the right way. Even though you can beat this game in like an hour if you don't probably or under two. If you don't listen to don't watch any cutscenes, it's not a long game. But I like when I went. So after that, when you go to the part where you have to go meet the second guy, Kenneth Baker, who's the president of a military company that has the other code. Like the whole scene leading up to him, like so much of it was in my head. Like when they're like, oh, you got to put C4 in the walls. I knew where the walls were because I've seen somebody named Rich play this game a bunch of times. I knew right where to go when we were kids. And we used to play this game all the time. And it was just funny. It's still in my memory. It was still there. I went and put the C4 and broke open stuff. I mean, I looked for it, but I knew right where to look. Like I knew, it's in the bottom left corner. Oh, this is in the top right corner. Like I knew where it was.
Yeah, if you don't, this is where that first person view comes in really handy too. Is you can look at it and you can see it's actually well camouflaged, but you can see there's like a line running around the wall that stops where the fake parts are, where the hollow ones are.
My question is, like, if you go and put somebody in this place and you cement the door, like, how does this help you when you like he's set there as a trap to bring Solid Snake. You don't need to cement the doors for your trap.
Yeah, I know.
So
I don't know. I guess I wanted to make him use up his C4.
So there's like a really weird scene for that, and like I always tell people there's like three very specific scenes in this game that I tell people and they don't believe me. And it's the scene where you meet Baker and it's where he's like, I need you to tell me the launch codes. And Baker's like, I don't remember them because I'm old. And Snake has like a fit.
Yeah.
And like almost shoots him.
I love that.
Snake is not like cool sometimes. He gets very highly upset here and there.
So, Rich, when we first played this game, the original PS1 version, you didn't have the case, right, or something?
Oh,
the PS1 version?
Oh, yeah, shit.
Yeah, because I think we had an issue with this where you couldn't figure out what to do. Like after this part when you have to go and call her, and we couldn't call her.
Yeah, that's how that is like the best like little like anti-piracy, anti-used game thing ever is to put that codec on the back of the case like that.
Yeah, so we did have the case. I think we just didn't understand where to look. Like even though they were kind of flat out saying it, like we never saw a game or anything for that had us like look outside of the game for something else.
Yeah, it's so like literally outside the box game design. Are y'all aware of what they did with the PlayStation Classic?
What?
No.
Oh, you can.
So the box for the PlayStation Classic, on the back, it has little screenshots of the different games that are included, and the screenshot from Metal Gear Solid is the codec showing Meryl's codec thing. Like that is like chef's kiss. That is like, I love that. That is an attention to detail that is not present in some of the rest of the design of the PlayStation Classic, but that is awesome.
Classic's garbage. But
it's great as a little emulation machine. It's like a $30 Raspberry Pi.
That's what I did with mine.
Yeah, that's why I bought one.
Yeah, that's the only reason to buy one.
I feel bad for the kids who like weren't ready to go off and like, oh, you have to go rent the game, Billy.
Oh God.
I can't look at how to get past this part because it's only in like a Blockbuster case. So I guess
Blockbuster's not going to have that codec code on the case.
No.
But you're right though. He gets so angry when he's like, I forgot. He pulls a gun. You're right. He does pull a gun on him.
Yeah, he pulls a gun on him.
Yeah.
Oh, and this is another spot where the game gets broken, like in the Revolver Ocelot fight. When you did on the original PS1 version, you had to be careful because if you shot across, you would shoot Baker, or you would shoot a wire and blow everything up. But in this game, with the first person, you can just, like, I just stood in one spot, put in first person, and I just tanked him as he shot me back and forth. And
the Revolver Ocelot fight was so much easier in this version. Yeah, in the PlayStation 1 version, I mean, I think at least the first time I did it, it had to have taken me like a dozen tries. And this one, it was just like over in 30 seconds.
Because he also bounces the bullets around, where in the PS1 version it actually matters because he bounces them around to hit you. In this one, he doesn't. You can just stand in one spot and just shoot him because you can just shoot across because you can aim.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure the bullets probably do bounce around and hit you if you don't take him out, but he's just so easy to take out in first person.
And this is when you first get introduced to Ninja 2, which the cutscene that they added in the GameCube version, just the way that cutscene is. I know it's very Matrix, but I still think it fits what Metal Gear Solid 2 and 3, just the way that these games go, where they're very cinematic games, they're very over-the-top cutscenes. Like, I like the fact that this, even though the original game didn't have that, I'm okay with this version having that. I mean, Snake doesn't need to jump off a rock, but still.
Yeah, and I love all the Gray Fox stuff too. It's just like, I just like the design of that. I think it's fun. I mean, it's silly, but it's fun.
Definitely some of the coolest points in the game.
Yeah.
I still make every so often I'll reference stuff from Gray Fox. Hurt me more.
See,
I like saying that. So that's one thing I can't really say to random people unless they know what I'm referencing. Otherwise,
Yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
I've done it to my wife before, and she'll just look at me like, what the hell? Because she doesn't know what I'm talking about.
see, you say that, but I grew up on Newgrounds with Ego Raptor, so I would
that up.
Yeah, I would yell at my cousin, "Hurt me more, dog," and she would get it. So
Metal Gear Awesome.
Yeah.
I remember those. Because we were like, when we were kids, Rich, we were like obsessed with Metal Gear.
Oh yeah.
We only had 2 games at the time because I want to say, well, no, we had 3 eventually when we were in high school.
Mm-hmm.
So how old were you guys when Metal Gear Solid came out? I think I might be a little older than some of you.
the original or this one?
The original.
Like
I was-
Metal Gear Solid on PS1.
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 That was 10.
Yeah.
10 or 11.
Yeah, I was 15, 16, 15, I think. And so, yeah, and I really wanted a PlayStation, but I just I had gone all in on the N64. So I just had to like observe this Metal Gear, Resident Evil, Final Fantasy VII phenomenon from the side. And then, Final Fantasy VII got a PC port my like senior year of high school. So I got to play that. But the others, it was just like, all right, well, I'm just never going to get to play these. And then didn't get to play them until I was well into adulthood.
I guess I'm the odd one out because whenever I watched Metal Gear, I was like 5.
There you go. Yeah, I just remember seeing like the Metal Gear stuff and not really knowing anything about it. And then when I was in college, you started getting those Tom Clancy games that are kind of not Metal Gear-ish, but kind of the Sam Fisher. I can't remember what those are called.
Splinter Cell.
Splinter Cell. Yeah, Splinter Cell started coming out when I was in college, and I was like, oh, so this is just like I thought it was like the same thing because I got the second Splinter Cell game, and I was like, oh yeah, this is okay. This is what Metal Gear was. I bet. No, not
There's
exactly.
a lot more.
Yeah,
Same type of genre, but
yeah,
they tried to cement it more in realism than MGS.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, there's no realism in MGS. So
Yeah, barely. I mean, they reference a lot of real things, like even in this game, that one treaty that what's it called?
The START. They talk about the START treaty. Yeah, so
Yeah.
I'm a history teacher and a professor, and I my specialty of research is the U.S. and the Cold War. So I'm like super. Yeah, so I'm
You
like
must
I
have
love
loved
this
all
stuff.
then.
Yeah, I was like, man, that is awesome. Yeah, and it's accurate what they're saying at the end too. All of it is.
Hal's dad or Otacon's dad helped make the nitrogen bomb. I think is a plot point too, or grandpa.
Interesting.
grandfather, I think, because I want to say his father is in Peace Walker.
His father was
Yes,
in
his father's in
Peace
Peace Walker.
Okay, I've never played Peace Walker for very long, unfortunately. It's one of
His
my
grandfather dropped like one of the first, the Manhattan kind of thing, one of the
Manhattan
hydrogen
Project.
bombs. Like they tested it out, and then his father was the one that developed it, furthered that research or something like that.
Something like that.
Okay. I mean, there's so many, ties in this game and story beats that keep going throughout the series. So I am not a big fan of the tank fight that you happen shortly after this. After you have to go and call Meryl to get her to unlock a door, otherwise you can't progress in the game. And then you fight a tank, and this fight is fine. Like I did it very easy, so I just throw a chaff grenade and throw grenades, right? But I like the fact that the grenades just kind of like home in on them. If you throw them in the right direction, they just go there anyway. Like there was no missing.
Oh.
Can you imagine if you had to go in first person and lob them in there?
I would have just shot him in the head then.
That would be rough.
I wouldn't have done it. I would have been, okay, I guess headshots now.
Yeah. Well, but it is hard though because the guys have like a machine gun, and even with the chaff grenade, you aren't getting shot by the tank gun, but the machine gun is still, can still shoot at you while it's chaffed. Did you know you can stop the tank temporarily by throwing a grenade under it or by putting claymores in front of it?
I shot the tank by accident on the treads to stop it because I hit it with a grenade because I missed.
Yeah.
I never.
No, one of my strategies in both versions is I like run in front of it and drop a claymore behind me as I'm running, and then it'll be stopped, and then it's just like you can sit there and you can get in a lot of grenade hits while it's stuck before it starts going again.
Oh.
Yeah.
I saved my claymores for a whole different boss fight.
Oh yeah. Yep. I think I used a bunch in that also.
Yeah.
I did a lot of backtracking and getting extra ammo also because like a lot of the ammo things respawn, especially in the armory.
Well, you can, which is nice.
Yeah, I did that a lot, so I was usually full up on almost everything.
Can't you call Otacon for more ammo? He just gives you random ammo, or
He can give you rations and ammo.
Oh,
Okay.
does he really? Oh, I didn't even realize that. I knew that you could call him and he would tell you where to find stuff. I didn't know that he would just give it to you through the thing. I guess the headcanon is that he's wearing the stealth suit, so he can just kind of go anywhere.
Yeah, he says it in the cutscene, like when he shows you that he has stealth camo, he's I can bring you whatever you need.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Okay, I never used that before.
Yeah, I never used that either.
I just don't care.
I forget.
Very easy. I doubt you need it.
You don't need it on very easy. Very easy. I mean, I was running out of M9 ammo, but that doesn't matter because I can just shoot with a pistol anyway. So, but I found the silencer pretty quick. That's another thing that was interesting is how much of the stuff was in my brain from this game. A lot was still in my memory of where certain items were on the easy difficulty.
There were some things I had completely forgotten, though. I had to look up. I could not remember where to get the sniper rifle. But Otacon will tell you where to get it.
No, they tell you where to get one whenever which I want to get to so badly. Whenever Meryl gets shot, Colonel's like, there's a trank sniper a little while back.
Oh yeah, the trank sniper is new too.
Okay.
Yeah,
so there was no tranking.
It's new to this version. Yeah, and I got both. I used the trank sniper a lot, but the good thing with the regular sniper rifle is you can take out cameras from long distance with it.
Because after you get done with the tank stuff, that's when you go down to where you meet Otacon for the first time. And the whole scene, like everything that goes on to that, like the whole part where this is when you have to do the Nikita missile down the doorway to shoot, shorten the computer. I mean, that was okay. I mean, on very easy is easy because I didn't have any issues. But
like I said, with the chaff grenade, it's not bad. If you don't have the chaff grenade, then it's a real it can be kind of annoying. You have to kind of hug the wall with it. Help.
I can see that being annoying.
That helps a bit. And then it's also the hole you have to go through between the glass doors is really hard to see that it's even there. It just looks like you're going to fly right into a window till you're right on top of it. So you just kind of have to remember, there's an opening in the middle of this that you can't really see very well.
It's a cool scene that only serves one purpose. I mean, the Nikita only serves that one purpose in this entire game. But it's cool that it's there.
It's useful in some other places, but I guess that's the only place.
Raven, right?
It's really useful. Well, it can be useful with Raven. Though the sniper rifle's even easier with Raven, but
I could not do the sniper rifle with Raven at all.
Yeah, you just watch the radar and wait till you see that he's like halfway down from you, and then you can shoot him in the back of the head, and then just immediately switch off and roll out of the way.
Okay.
Or you can just leave claymores everywhere and let him just blow himself up, or C4 and blow him up remotely with the C4. You got a lot of options.
Yeah, I use claymores.
I shot him in the back with stingers.
With stinger missiles?
Yep, that's how I was taught to beat him.
Wait, do you have this? I thought you get the stinger after him.
No, you get it before him because he's right at the end.
Oh, okay.
Rich, what were you going to say about Vulcan? Raven?
No, that's actually one of the more preferred easy ways of doing it is with the stinger.
Oh, wow.
It's great. It's funny to me because we can talk about Vulcan Raven real quick. Like when you fight Vulcan Raven later in the game, like in the cutscene in the Twin Snakes version, before you fight him, it shows you he has a stinger. You shoot the stinger at him, and it's like the game just tells you in the cutscene, yeah, you're gonna want the stinger.
Yeah, it never even occurred to me to use the stinger against.
It's amusing because you literally have to just watch him, make sure he's not facing you. You just shoot a rocket at his back.
Yeah. Well, the Nikita works, but I don't know why it was like going so slow, even if I wasn't turning it.
It didn't speed up in this game like it does in other games.
Not well enough. And the thing I liked about it in the first game is you can switch it to third person when you have the Nikita. So that makes it so much easier in that fight to not be in first person during it.
In this game, like I want to say normally in games when you use the Nikita and you shoot it and you stay in the same direction, it speeds up. In this game, I don't think it did.
Well, it does a little. It does, but it's just not enough.
Not noticeable.
Yeah.
I mean, not enough, like you were saying, to make a difference.
Yeah. So I didn't use it much against him in this version, mainly because I couldn't catch up to him with it. I would have to be like almost right on top of him to hit him with it.
I still love the Vulcan Raven fight. I love the fight. You fight this giant guy that's carrying a Gatling gun on his back.
Yeah.
You can third person the Nikita?
In the original.
Oh, okay.
Not in this one. But in Metal Gear Solid on the PlayStation, you can third person the Nikita, and then that makes that fight trivial. Though I guess the Stinger also does. I guess the Stinger does also. I never even thought to use the Stinger.
It's one of those fights that it's very over the top, but it's very cool still. I mean, I enjoyed it. He speeds up real fast when you get near death, though, on him.
Yeah.
He was starting to run. I'm like, this. Okay,
when you get him down to like 25%, he's just like sprinting. At that point, that was when I started just like putting C4 behind me, and I would run from him and then just remote detonate. And that he just runs right into that C4 over and over again. Or the Claymores, same thing. But the Claymores take longer to deploy, I think.
Yeah, they're not as fast.
You have to turn around too because you put them facing away from you, as is accurate. So, but I guess he'll run over him. But we skipped Gray Fox. Yeah.
Yes. Great. So I love the Gray Fox fight.
Gray Fox.
He died in Zanzibar.
Did he? Well, he didn't, of course, but I don't even remember Metal Gear 2 in Zanzibar when you fight him. I can't even remember it. But
I've never played it, so I was always just like playing this is like I'm like it's people are referring to things that I've never heard of. I'm just like creating this like mysterious world for me.
Most people didn't at this time because at this time it didn't even come to America. The original one never did, so you wouldn't have known it.
Yeah,
you wouldn't have known that Zanzibar land has poisonous hamsters. But hey, somebody made that joke.
I did not.
There's a room in Metal Gear 2 where you have to do something special because there are hamsters that will come out and eat you and kill you instantly. Really stupid.
That's insane.
Yeah, yes. I forgot what you have to do, but you have to do something to get past this one room to get a key or something. Yeah. You can listen to our Metal Gear 2 episode after this. We talk about it in there. But no, like everything with the Gray Fox, so when I was a kid and I saw the scene with Otacon where Otacon pisses himself, I'm like, oh, what a wuss. Now I'm like, that's completely normal. If I had some guy standing above me with a sword pointing towards my neck and I just had witnessed, I would be pissing myself too. So
let's not forget the slaughter that just occurred.
Oh God,
the coolest scene in the game.
Yes. That is like at the end of Rogue One when Darth Vader comes in that hallway.
Exactly what I thought about. Yeah.
That is, yes. I had not played it since seeing Rogue One, and I did that, and I was like, oh, this is like Rogue One. This is like so extremely like what he does.
So the whole tone of the game is changed. Like you hear things whispering in the background.
It's one of the most brutal scenes in this game, too. Like, it's brutal on the PS1, but seeing on the GameCube with the better graphics of just walking down that hallway and just seeing people just getting massacred by an invisible thing.
Yeah,
you can't
imagine if they did like a full like PS5 level remake of this game. Like they would have to tone that scene down.
It's supposed to be
halfway there. Yeah, we're halfway there.
Are they actually making it on PS5? Like, has that been official announced yet?
It's been officially canceled twice.
Okay.
There's like 2 fan games that were coming out, and one of them was actually voiced by David Hayter, and Konami got the big ban hammer and went no.
Okay, I know
maybe we'll get to see it on a pachinko machine someday.
Don't say that, please don't say that.
I know there was talk of it getting re-released for PS5. Like they want to remake it, but I don't know if I couldn't. I've heard rumors, but I didn't know if that was ever officially announced or not.
I wonder what else they'll retcon.
Yeah, Konami, they're like, oh, Kojima, he never made these games, never heard of them.
Well, maybe they'll give Meryl her red hair back.
I like Meryl so much in this game. But so after that hallway, like that, okay, for one, that hallway is just so awesome. Like it creeped me out a little. I knew it was coming, of course, but it's still kind of creepy. It's like, damn, and you just walk down this hallway and then you get to the boss fight with Gray Fox. And this is a fight where you can get completely screwed up if you don't do it right. Because if you try to shoot him, he just blocks all your bullets. You have to unequip your gun and punch him.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which I'm assuming the game will tell you through Codec Calls or something or hints where it's like, oh, we're gonna fight like men now when you start punching.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that like if you keep trying to shoot him, that Campbell will call you and be like, hey, stop trying to shoot him. If I recall correctly from the original, but. Yeah, it's interesting because once you know how to do it, it's like really easy.
Yeah, it's not a boss fight.
Yeah, you just have to remember, you have to know like that, okay, when you knock him down, then you have to back up because when he jumps up, he's like invulnerable and will hit. And it's the same thing with the final fight in the game. It's very similar.
It's a fun fight. And then as you beat him down, you have the part where he kind of runs away and then he'll go in different parts of the room and wait for you.
Yeah.
I really liked it. Like
that fight kind of throws you off though, because up until that point, the game trains you to use your items and your gadgets to your advantage to move on to the next step. And now you're forced to draw back and pull back and actually use your fist to do something and progress. So it is a bit of a shock once you figure it out. Oh, that's common sense. But then again, you've been trained otherwise.
Yeah.
Can you use stun grenades against him?
You can use chaff grenades.
Chaff grenades, right? That's what I was thinking. That when the very first time I ever played it on the PS1, that I used chaff grenades against him. I didn't this time. I also don't remember him being that easy to see when he was camouflaged. And I don't know if it's because I'm playing on 50-inch television and HD like Dolphin emulator set to like upscale and all that.
It's
or
the
what.
GameCube.
Is it? Because
Yeah,
I was going to say, because I could see him clearly whenever he was standing there camouflage. I'm like, I see you. You're not. This isn't working.
Because I played it on a lap. I played on my laptop on Dolphin, but I didn't like update anything. I just played Dolphin regular, I guess.
Yeah.
And he's not hard to see. And from what I remember in the original GameCube version, he's not hard to see either. Like they fixed that. They didn't. Well, I mean, not fix, but again, it's one of those things that people probably would complain about because they changed it.
Yeah, I could see that. I guess.
So
everything. I related to Otacon more because I know when I was a kid, I used to make fun. I'm like, oh, what a dumbass! He hides in the locker. Like, hell, I would have hid in the locker too if someone just started, these two people about to massacre each other. Like, I'm not gonna sit out there and help.
Now, to be fair, it is like one of his Japanese animes.
That guy,
I don't think I would tell.
4 times.
Oh, it's just like one of my Japanese animes.
My Japanese animes.
Awesome.
Call me Otacon.
Oh, I love that.
Stands for Otaku Convention.
I was reading through the changes. They changed what they show whenever he talks about anime also.
Oh, what is it?
So in the original, they show footage from Police Knots, and in this one, they show footage from Zone of the Enders' Second Runner.
Zone of the Enders. There we go.
Yeah.
How awkward was Otacon in the locker when he gets out and Snake goes up there? He's like, "Are you an otaku?" I'm like, what?
I mean, now I chalk it up to suffering trauma of what just happened. So you end up like you're just saying something that you're trying to relate, but it's still dumb. But there's a GameCube in this room too. Like on one of the desks, there's someone has a GameCube, and there's Mario and Yoshi.
Yep.
Yeah, and you can
on those damn things.
If you shoot the Yoshi, it makes the Yoshi sound. If you shoot the Mario, it makes the like 1-up sound, and it pops up a little 1-up, and you get healed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's a little Easter egg there. So
That's
of course
cool.
I did it, and I was at like 90% health. So but still, yeah, I think it fully heals you when you do it.
That's cool.
So you could theoretically, if you're having a hard time with that boss fight because you're playing on very hard or something, you could just shoot the Mario whenever you need health.
Okay, that's cool. I stalled him. I didn't shoot him this time because I was just playing through the game quickly.
Well, it's something that even if it had existed in the original, you wouldn't be able to. It would be really hard to do because you have the first person now. So it's like with the first person, I'm just like looking around, seeing what can I do with this.
No, you can break windows in this room too. Like he can kick things, and he broke doors for me and stuff while we were fighting.
You can break mirrors in like the bathrooms and stuff too. They added a lot of destructible things. You can destroy like some of the laser grid things, the emitters on the walls, and a lot of stuff. Not all of them, but some of them.
Is it after the Gray Fox fight is when you have to go find Meryl, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's when
so I did this a little
bathroom?
differently. I went to the room where Meryl was, but I wasn't sure which one was Meryl. So what I did is I saved, then I shot her in the face, and then she died. I'm like, oh, that's Meryl. Then I reloaded, and then I didn't kill her. It's like
You're talking about when she's dressed as one of the soldiers.
Yeah, you can tell.
You just follow her into the women's bathroom.
What I did is I ran in front of her after I shot her and reloaded, knew it was her. She goes, and then she runs to the bathroom, and I followed her to the bathroom.
Oh. Yeah, so I already knew what to do there, so I just stood, I sat in a box outside the ladies' bathroom until she came in. Because that's the thing is there's a men's bathroom on the left and a women's on the right, and she's the only one that'll go into the women's. In the original, then you go in and you have to peep on her in the stall, but in this one, it's she's waiting for you. In fact, I think she gets the drop on you. I think she steps up behind you or something.
Yes, because she puts her boot in the stall, so he goes to the stall, opens the door because he's a perv, and then that's when she then tricks him because she put the uniform there and he was tricked.
Yeah, they're showing that she's growing. Yeah,
there's so many times in this game where if somebody would just pull the damn trigger on Snake, he would have died a long time ago.
Yeah.
Well, because they want him alive. I think that's why.
Well, they need him because they need him. He has the key. I think at some point it comes up between somebody that he has the key to activate Metal Gear, and they don't, and they know that. Well, so they're just
here's the thing, though. During all those fights and everything that he's going through, he could easily die. One bullet, he's done. This guy is fighting a tank. One of those shells hit him. He should be done for. So they're prepared for him to die. They want him to live. They kind of want to get him to a certain point. I know Liquid would love to confront him, which he eventually does. But even if he died, we'll just get whatever key or items and everything he has on him and go from there.
Well, the way I took it is that some of the characters, like Vulcan, is he's insane. They're not really doing a great job as minions of Liquid Snake. I think Liquid is trying to corral these insane genome soldiers who are all dying. Is trying to herd cats, kind of is the impression I get sometimes.
Right. Well, I mean, the rest of Foxhound, they're not genome soldiers, right? So
Oh, I guess. Oh, yeah.
No.
I guess not. No, you're
Yeah.
They're
right.
just
They're
people.
but they're still incredibly insane,
Yeah.
especially Sniper
Yeah, they're all
Wolf,
crazy.
like, who,
Yeah, they're all crazy.
yeah, like when that scene came on, the torture scene, and then Ocelot's in there, Sniper Wolf, I can't remember if anybody else was in there, but she leaves, like, she smells Snake and gives him a rag and handkerchief and stuff and smells him and leaves.
and scratches them.
Ocelot is, she like marks him, whatever.
She
and
marks him as
Ocelot,
like, now you are my prey or whatever.
Ocelot explains like, oh, she falls in love with a lot of her targets and then she kills them. It's like, what the fuck? Shouldn't
Yeah.
Shouldn't she be Mantis instead? Like, she kills all the people she loves. Like, it got really weird at that point with her. But her death scene, I think, was one of the most emotional, more touching scenes of the entire game.
It really was, and I like the touch. Like I like that she's Kurdish.
Yeah, which
is really cool because the Kurds are they're ethnically Arab, but traditionally they're religiously speaking they're like kind of descendants of like Zoroastrianism, and so which in turn means that they have more kind of like as you say equality between gender. So like the Kurdish rebels fighting, who like fought against Saddam Hussein and all that in northern Iraq. You would see like footage of them and stuff, and it's like men and women wearing, like carrying, AKs and stuff, fighting side by side against the Iraqi army and stuff, and against the Turks and all that. And so I think like it actually fits. It fits that this badass female sniper would be Kurdish. That's like one of the countries or one of the civilizations where women actually do fight side by side with the men.
Well, let me ask you this too, because he mentions that she's a Kurd, and then he says something in regards to, oh, that's why you're a wolf or something like that. What's that correlation?
I don't know. I assume that's like I assume that there's like lots of wolves in Kurdistan or in the Kurdish areas.
I
don't
didn't have enough time to look it up. I was trying, but I was like, I'm going to have to dig really deep for this one. But I thought it was maybe something cultural or religious related with wolves that he chose to mention that. But yeah, I might have to look that up.
Yeah, no, I don't know. Like what I know about the Kurds is really mostly how it relates to like the Cold War and how the U.S., the CIA, it kind of used them as kind of a wedge against Iran and Iraq during the Cold War. So
CIA using people? I can't believe that.
So that could be two things. Either wolves don't see gender, which might be a thing.
Okay.
That or technically because whenever Snake sees the wolves, they're not wolves, they're wolf dog, which kind of makes them like expendable. And I guess since they're hurt, so maybe that's what it is.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, but but the Kurdish thing also like fits with the idea of her being born on a battlefield because the Kurds have been fighting for their independence for like 500 years.
Oh, okay.
So
that could be a very interesting podcast as well, like Metal Gear symbolism and just digging into different things like that.
I'd love to get into that
podcast.
Yeah.
Okay, that might happen.
Ideas for you, buddy. But with that scene with her dying, they actually show her point of view, her first-person view, and you see the Aurora Borealis in the background too. I thought that was so striking too. Just to throw that little touch in there.
It really is.
It's also a great boss fight. Let's talk about Sniper Wolf since we're already there anyway now.
Yeah.
I love it. Like, I don't like the end fight, as I've kind of mentioned before on here, but I love this fight. I mean, you're in an open area. She's shooting back and forth. I did try to shoot her with a stinger because I know you can.
You can.
So I was like, I'm going to fight her with a stinger because I like stingers for some reason in this game. I didn't. I ended up just sniping her. But it's such a cool fight, too. And, like, it's fun. Really good.
And
So
I didn't try, but can you take her out with the tranquilizer rifle, or do you have to use this? Like
you can trank her.
Yeah, you can trank all the bosses.
And what happens? I mean, does she still die at the end?
They all die. They all still die.
Ah,
Yeah.
But I think they drop dog tags, right?
I'm not sure. I think so.
I only got one set of dog tags by accident when I was fighting Liquid and I punched him off the Metal Gear and he catches himself and then I got dog tags. I'm like, oh yeah, there's dog tags in this game. But
I got a couple from Shaking guys, but that was the only boss one I got was Liquid.
If you go back to Raven's dog tags are sitting on the ground whenever he gets eaten by burbs.
But yeah, Sniper Wolf is a cool fight. I like that if you're sniping at her, you got the scope and you look right at her as she's aiming at you, then her laser sight like washes out your vision because it's hitting your scope.
Yeah.
It's like little touches like that. Like sometimes that was actually like I couldn't figure out where she was at, and I would like be moving the thing around until my thing would flash and like, oh, there she is.
she's everything with her, like the whole fact like Otacon falls in love with her. Can love bloom on a battlefield? Like all that stuff, I think it's dumb in the way they do it, but I think it's good too because it's it's Stockholm syndrome in a way where he's falling in love with one of his captors.
It also fits into his whole kind of like kind of pathetic nerd thing because I don't think she has that feeling about him at all.
No, and she is hot. So
like I'm not sure if she even know who he is.
No, she does not acknowledge him in that whole conversation. Like, he is behind her sobbing, and she's like, Snake, please let me see the Aurora Borealis one more time. And Alcon's like, no, please don't die, Wolf. And she's just straight up ignoring him.
What were you going to say, Rich?
Well, he kind of said it already. Like, she's not acknowledging him. Like, she wanted Snake. She was like, please, Snake, just blow my brains out. Like, she didn't want to hear Otacon anymore.
Yeah. So my son was watching me. He was like playing. We have 2 TVs in our living room, and so he was playing something on the Nintendo Switch on the other TV while I was playing this part. And the cutscene came, and I just like didn't realize he was just sitting there watching it intently. And she's like, that part comes up. I'm like, I don't know if you need to see this. It's getting a little grim.
Like, we're talking about really absurd stuff, and since we're on Sniper Wolf, I completely forgot that cutscene happens on the first Sniper Wolf boss fight. They stare at that laser from the sniper rifle for a solid fucking minute at Meryl.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, I could see Meryl looking at it and being confused, but what could Snake have thought it was other than that? Like, he just sees it. He's like, a laser.
Hey,
he's not a very good soldier.
Pointed at your heart. That's weird.
Laser pointers were pretty popular at that time.
He's like, could that laser pointer be coming from? What is that?
It goes over her whole body, and she even like whittles it between her fingers, and you're just like, get out of the way, please.
Yeah, I was like, is she going to get shot in the hand? That's going to be gruesome.
Okay, that whole scene where the first time you see Sniper Wolf and she shoots Meryl be dead. Okay, no question. You take 3 sniper shots, 1 to your arm, 2 to your legs. You're not going to get... I don't think they can just patch you back up when you take in that kind of a slug.
Yeah, right, no. I have a friend who's he's a Marine, and he served in Iraq and in Afghanistan in our most recent forays there. And he talked about seeing someone get hit with a sniper rifle in the arm, and it just was like they got hit with like a tank cannon. It's just like it hits the arm, and it's just like he says if you're standing close to where someone gets hit with one, like just the shockwave of it can be dangerous. Like the idea that you would get shot 3 times, like it's pretty absurd.
What were you gonna say, Rich?
She's getting the laser pointed at her, and Sniper Wolf's using Meryl as bait to lure Snake out. He was already kind of out in the open at that point. Yeah. She could have just popped him. So I didn't get too good. I felt like they should have had him in an area where she couldn't really like easily see him, and that's why she used her as bait. But I didn't get that too much.
Well, I think the way I kind of like make it make sense in my head, at least, is I'm like that she wants to toy with him. She wants to give him a fighting chance, and so she wants to toy with him and see what will he do if she wounds somebody. Will he be professional and stay back, or will he put himself in danger to rescue her? That's kind of how I look at it.
There was like that point where he did put himself in danger again, where he's just blindly shooting his handgun around the corner, where he could have got hit again.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I didn't get that.
Sniper Wolf's thoughts.
That could have been done better.
Yeah, that's true. That whole thing could be. And the big thing is then you leave Meryl bleeding out in this hallway to go backtrack halfway through the game, almost to the very beginning of the game.
And like you said,
I'll be right back.
The devastation from that rifle, and yet she didn't bleed out by the time we got back.
Yeah, it's really funny because it's like, I mean, they could have given you a timer. That would have been that would have like really upped the difficulty if they give you like a Meryl bleeding out timer.
Well, yeah, in my head, I remember there being one, but when I played this, I found out there isn't one.
Yeah, no, there's nothing. So it's like you could just, I mean, I went back to the armory and like refilled on grenades and C4 and stuff, and I went and got the tranq rifle and the sniper rifle, and went and found like where there's extra sniper rifle ammo somewhere in one of the secret rooms in the armory, and just all that stuff.
Yeah, then again, we're complaining about realism and logic in a game where a guy floats around an office room and reads your memory cards.
So yeah, we should talk about the Psycho Mantis fight. Like this still, I was annoyed because I was playing an emulator and I didn't want to switch controllers because I just didn't want to bother with, because you can do it on the emulator. You just have to go in the settings and reconfigure stuff, and I didn't want to do that, so I didn't bother. And like in this fight, if you do it the other way, you have to literally die 3 or 4 times. And then after you do that, then you have the ability to shoot out the statues, or one statue in particular, that then lets you actually be able to hit him. Otherwise, if you don't, he dodges all your bullets.
Wait, what?
You never do that?
No, I just switched it.
In the PS1 version,
controller,
you can just shoot out the statue, but in the GameCube version, I think you have to. Maybe in the PS1 version too. I didn't try this, but in the GameCube version, you have to die 3 to 4 times, and then eventually, when you call Campbell, he'll tell you shoot out the statue. It gives him his powers. Somehow.
The statue that's like shaped like a person.
Yes, on the right side. There's 2 of them, but only one actually matters.
I think it's wearing his mask.
Yes.
Oh, that's interesting.
Well,
Yeah, no, I've
put that in
always
there.
every time I've ever done this fight, I've just switched the controllers. So
It's a good thing they threw it in there because you got to like think about the people whose controller ports didn't work in the second one or the fourth one or whatever.
well,
So
I'm curious, like how many, like what was it like playing this, like when it came out? For those of you that played it, did you
on the
understand?
GameCube version, you have to literally put it in each one. He gets to the 4th one, and he finally stops reading you.
Well, right, and that was what I did. But I mean, like when you were a kid playing this game, whether you're playing the original or this one, did you know to do that? Did the game tell you to do it?
no,
At some
not
point?
immediately. No,
Yeah,
I think they
'cause-
do eventually on Codec if you're having trouble, but initially, no, they don't tell you that.
Yeah, so I have the unfortunate that I didn't play. I was in my early 30s before I played Metal Gear games, and so like I just like had spent years and years hearing about this stuff. So I've never gone into it fresh.
Oh no, that was a new, and again, like a new thing you've never seen before. Not only is this guy spouting off the games you played on your damn computer,
Yeah.
how do you know that shit? And then now you got to switch to another port. That I never seen anything like that before.
Yeah, or that he tells you to put the controller on the ground and then makes it move. That would have blown my mind as like a little kid.
Oh yeah,
Put it on the ground and it starts moving. I would have been like, what?
Or there's one part later on in the game, like, oh, you're hurt, Snake. Put the controller against your arm.
Oh yeah, yeah.
No,
Shiatsu
here's the thing with that,
massage.
though. When the first one came out, the original one, I don't even think they had a rumble feature in those controllers yet. So I don't
They
think
did not.
those
They had it in the DualShock, and
Yeah,
so
that's
if you're
what-
playing with the DualShock, that still does, because I played it PS1 with the DualShock, and it does do the vibration.
Okay.
Yeah.
I want to say the original PlayStation 1 also does the weird, like, oh, your TV's unplugged.
Oh yeah, it does. Yep.
That is
And
terrifying.
it pops up. It says I think for the input on this one it said Kojima, but
Hideo.
I felt Hideo instead of video. Oh ha.
Ah,
Nice. Hideo instead of video. I didn't even get that till just now. That's awesome. Yeah, I love that fourth wall breaking stuff. Like when you're being tortured and Revolver Ocelot like says no rapid fire setting or something like, or no auto fire.
yeah, or I'll know. And
Or I'll
there'll
know. And in this version he actually looks at the camera when he says it too.
be no continues either.
Oh god. Yeah.
The whole torture thing I don't like it. Like, it's easy and very easy, but I don't. I mean, again, I think it's cool that you can skip it depending on which ending you're going for. Or you can submit and then Meryl will die, and then you'll get the different ending, or you can go through it and Meryl will survive. Like, I thought that was cool.
Yeah. I don't know if I'd ever actually saved Meryl before this playthrough.
Oh,
When I played it before, I let her
never
die.
let her die.
Yeah, I let her die because I've played through the original twice, and I let her die in both times on accident the first time, and then the second time it's like whatever, who cares? And so I knew that letting her live it would change things, but I didn't like the ending sequence is like different, which is interesting.
Well,
Like
stealth
the end-
camo is way cooler. So
Oh yeah,
I've actually never seen the ending with Otacon because I always say Meryl. I can't let the 3 times I've beaten this game, I always say Meryl.
well the
When I
ending with
played it,
Otacon
I
makes the
both.
beginning of Metal Gear Solid 2 make sense.
There's also, like, the best Easter egg in Metal Gear ever.
Which one?
I will save it till the end.
Oh, okay, save it till the end.
Yeah, I
There
will
you go.
save it till the end.
So the whole torture thing, like, you just have to tap the action or tap A, like, where they're just electrocuting him.
Yeah.
I mean, this is better than having him get choked by a tentacle in the second game with the torturiness. So I prefer this.
Yeah.
But it's still just, I don't know. It's not a part I like. I mean, the cell is interesting. How you're locked in the cell, and there's a couple different ways to get out.
Mm-hmm.
Like for me, I did the ketchup trick where the guy brings you a ketchup
Yeah.
bottle and you lay down and put the bottle.
Have you ever done the Gray Fox version?
No.
Yeah, so if you just sit in the cell long enough, I don't know how long it is, I think it's several minutes, then Gray Fox will just come and kill the guard and let you out.
Well, he killed Johnny Sasaki. That's not canon.
Yeah, that's not canon at all.
Oh, yeah, definitely not. Yeah, I just read about it. I've never done it because I think you have to leave it sitting for a long time.
Yeah, I don't have patience for that.
But yeah,
I do like how
I usually do the catch up. I think one time I just hit under the bed, and then the other 2 times I did the catch up.
I like the fact that Johnny's like that bitch stole my clothes and I got this cold. He's just sneezing.
So as much as I'd hate to admit it, and if I ever come back for the other Metal Gear episodes, hopefully, Mike, if y'all have played 3, Digant is the DARPA chief.
Yep.
Oh yeah, no, we did play 3. We did 3 a while, some point ago, but yeah, we did.
Y'all did a 3 episode a long time ago.
It's a good game, man.
Yeah, 3 is my favorite in the series.
3 is my favorite.
We're working towards 4. Is what I'm slowly working towards because that's going to be a monster. So
got to do a Revengeance episode.
That too. That's a good game.
That's a great game.
Oh, okay. I enjoyed it. So I don't remember. But like, just the whole thing. Like, it's amusing how the different ways you get out of the cell. And then you go and get your equipment back, which is funny because you go and pick up the box and he runs behind the torture machine, comes out, and he's all dressed again.
Yeah, he goes behind it's like sound of him like zipping up real fast.
Except this makes more sense that you still have your codec, and your codec is essentially in your ear where you're being tortured. This makes more like in 3, they let him keep his radio. Hey, you know what? Maybe you might want to have a call before we kill you, so you can keep your radio. We'll let you keep the radio. This makes more sense. Like this, I can understand because it's in his body.
Yeah, they tied up a few little loose ends like that in this version.
So that amused me. But so like after the whole torture scene, I think we covered. Oh, we should go back to Manus real quick. Like during the Manus fight, where he actually he controls Meryl. I think that was kind of cool. You have to I was punching her. And I'm like, why am I punching her? I just went and tranked her instead. I took care of the problem a lot faster.
Stun grenades. Also, every time she stands up, just stun grenade.
The Manus fight annoyed me, but it was fine. And the way that I would die during the Manus fight, because I'm on very easy, so it took a while to kill me. I would just throw grenades at Meryl. I took care of it.
Yeah, I am. It's one of those fights that knowing how to do it ahead of time, it's like really easy. But if you don't, then I can see why it is. The first time I did it, I had a hard time with it. And
there's a couple parts that we still have to talk about. One, we have the tower climb, which I don't like still, where you run up the tower and being chased by guys the entire time.
So
I want to mention something about the tower that's really funny because there's like 2 things that happened in Metal Gear this week, by the way, that's brand new. But hey, Kerry, your son wasn't in the room for the Mantis fight, was he?
No.
Because like
no.
I always think about like being a kid. Like you always have weird stuff happen as a kid, but like imagine your mom walking by and she just hears like "Make love to me, Snake, forever." And it's like, oh man.
Yeah.
You're like a 15-year-old boy have that happen on your GameCube. It's like I'm gonna get grounded.
Yeah. Exactly. Oh yeah.
I forgot about that.
Yeah,
well, she didn't get a chance to talk very long before bullets went in her head. So
that is, I guess, as a benefit of when I was a kid, about as racy as games got was Peach inviting Mario over for some special cake. So,
but anyways, back to my original topic. They somehow HD remastered the entire Metal Gear 2 trailer, and it looks amazing.
Ooh!
And they just found, after 20-something years, they found another glitch that people are now going to abuse for speedruns for the original Metal Gear Solid, because some streamer found it. She was playing Metal Gear for no reason, and it's on the tower climb, and when you get to the door where Otacon tells you, oh, it's frozen shut, you can't do anything about it, she turned around and got shot phased through the door.
Oh,
so that's the Hind D fight then, right?
Yeah, you can actually just go to the other tower and just climb up to the Hind D fight. It saves like 2 minutes,
because you repel. Okay, you go up to the first tower, then the Hind D shoots at you, then you repel down, which is annoying.
Yeah.
Okay. That's cool.
That's really neat. Yeah, and then you can open the door from the other side with C4, but you can't open it from the inside of C4. So,
which I did just because. But that's cool. I heard about that. I didn't really understand what it was because I didn't pay attention, but I heard about it like online.
Yeah, I love watching speedruns and seeing like the crazy stuff people figure out, the community figures out together like that. That's really neat.
Speedruns are so weird.
Yeah.
Yes, they are. This is what people go through to do it. Like, and what you the way you play a game it's so interesting to me. But
I'll say I've watched a speedrun of this game, but not of the GameCube version, but not with that new glitch. So I don't know if it would work on the GameCube version or not.
It doesn't work on the GameCube version. It's only the PlayStation one.
Yeah, that's cool.
The Hind D fight, I think, is I like the fact they give you the stinger right before the Hind D fight. Like, here, you're gonna need this.
Yeah.
But it's kind of this time when I played it, I just stood still and tanked them because, again, I'm very easy. But it's a cool fight that you're sitting here shooting rockets at a frickin', helicopter that's circling around you trying to kill you on a tower. Like, it is cool.
Yeah, Yeah, it's cool. It's cool, and I mean, and that is what the Stinger was made for, like in real life. So it's like, it feels realistic. Yeah,
I mean, I don't understand
it
how
was made for shooting down Russian helicopters in particular. Actually,
I don't understand how Liquid survives after he's in the helicopter when it crashes, but he survives somehow.
Man,
But
I think I texted you when I beat the game. I was like, this guy. What did I say? I said something about it. He's just like will not die.
he won't.
He will not. Like right up at the end of the game, my son was watching the end cutscene. He's like, "Is he gonna die yet?" Soon, I hope.
I mean, to be fair, he doesn't.
Yeah, that's true. He doesn't. Oh, I said he's like the Black Knight from Monty Python. That's what I said.
Okay, that's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, oh, it's just tis but a scratch. Stinger missile, tis but a scratch.
And then I think it's because after the whole tower things, when you have Sniper Wolf, which we already talked about. Oh, then so one of the parts to me that this game is still stupid, but I understand the point, like the reasoning of it. Like when you get to Metal Gear finally, and they're like, oh. You have the whole conversation where they're sneaky man doesn't don't know he's there. Oh, they don't see him creeping around the corner, and they're like, oh, we activated Metal Gear. Oh, too bad. Hope no one comes in here with a key to hit the buttons and deactivate it. Oh no, that'd be terrible.
I hope they don't do it in this specific order. It's heat sensitive keys, and it's just like. Thanks for telling us everything. Good job. This is also when they reveal that they're not going to nuke civilians, that they're going to nuke nuclear test site.
This is a part that really feels like padding.
It does. It does. And then did you realize there's a way to skip all of it?
Yes.
And I looked it up and did it this time, but
I used to walk through this whole.
How do you skip it?
If you go on the far right, there's a walkway you can drop down to, and it's one of the ones where you have to, hang and then drop and then grab the railing or else you'll fall and die. And on that walkway, then on the wall, there's two pipes. One is blue, one is red. You shoot the blue one, and it sprays liquid nitrogen and freezes the key. You shoot the red one, and it sprays like hot steam and makes the key hot.
Okay.
So then you don't have to leave the Metal Gear room.
That's cool. I knew it was in the game.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if it's in the original or not. Is it just in this version?
Yeah. It's not in the original. Yeah.
So that was But again, like you would, if you didn't, like I can't imagine you would find that on accident, unless
you wouldn't.
You're just trying to 100% the game and get on every single walkway. Because the walkway you drop down to, there's no items on it, so it's not like there's no real reason to get to it. You just, if you really explore, you notice there's one little catwalk that you can only get to by dropping to it.
This is what I love about this game. That's why I think this is a great remake, even though I know people disagree. This is a great remake.
Yeah, well, it is a great remake, and they made it. In the original, the only way to know that the key has gotten cold enough is to open up the inventory and go inspect the key so that the description of it says that it's cold or says that it's hot. And in this one, they made the key change color. So you know that also. So that's another, it's like little things like that. I think this is an excellent remake. Like, I think this is the best way to play this game.
In the original, the rat also takes your key, right?
Yes, but in the original, the rat like runs around the room and you have to like chase it down and find it. And in this one, he just comes out the hole, goes back in, comes out the hole, goes back in. So it's you don't have to chase him through I remember chasing him like in the water before.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, you didn't have to go in the water at all unless you want the items that are down there.
I tried using claymores on him, but then I just blew myself up, so then I just shot him instead. Yeah, it didn't work. I'm like, I'll put a claymore in front of the vent, and then I just blew myself up. I'm like, well, we're not doing that again then.
Yeah.
Didn't work.
Yeah, we one thing we didn't talk about were the dogs, the wolf dogs.
Oh yeah, no, we did not.
So it's really annoying because you can get them to pee on the box.
Yes,
and
the little one,
right? And then they won't bother you while you're in the box. But you have to take the box off to crawl through the little tunnels. And I kept I would take the box off and immediately because the thing is if they're friendly to you, they sit there and stand like right on top of you. As soon as you take off the box, they jump on you, and they do a lot of damage and they knock you down. And if you're on your belly, it makes you stand up. And so I was like, eventually I'm just like, all right, I'm going to use the box, then run from them real fast, turn around and trank dart them so I can get through. I kept having to do that. I went through 4 rations the first time.
I like how I didn't know about that till later, the whole way to get the box like that is you have to go to where Meryl is with a little puppy, punch Meryl in the face and switch the box.
Yeah.
In order for the puppy to pee in the box so you can get that little thing to happen.
Yeah. It'll also happen if you accidentally shoot her there, which I did. I was going to punch her and I pressed A instead and shot her. She's like, what'd you do that for? And I dropped into the box and they still peed on me. So.
Why didn't you just trank them?
I don't know. I was like, oh, well, the peeing thing will work. And then, because it's funny that they pee on you and then they like you.
Yeah, it is amusing. And like after you get the 3 keys, which again, like I love how their whole plan, measures on the fact that he's listening to their conversation, which they knew he was there. And he activates the keys like, what? I deactivated Metal Gear. What's going on? They're like, oh, you fell for our trap.
Yeah, it's pretty convoluted.
And I think, is this when you have Liquid tells you he's been Miller the whole time?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which
Yeah.
And Snake can see him take off his glasses and put his hair down
On the codec. Yeah.
wherever
On the
that
codec.
visual is coming from. Yeah.
I never understood that. Well, because I never played Metal Gear 1 or 2, so I'm like, who the hell is Miller anyway? Because he's like, oh, Miller, you were on my previous missions. Like, I'm like, the fuck are you?
I think it does a good job of, like, if you've played the other games, then these will be really cool references. And if you haven't, we're building this like mysterious world. I think it does it, like when I played the game for the first time, I did not know any of the backstory about it at all. I didn't know anything from the original games, and playing it, and it just felt like, oh, this is this interesting world. I want to know more about Foxhound. I want to know more about, Miller and Master and all this stuff. And I want to know more. It just like, it really does, I think, do a good job of that world building with like kind of vague reference kind of style. But then if you have played them, or if you've like me just like read about them a lot, then it all fits, and you're like, oh, that's neat. He's talking about this thing.
I guess towards the end of this, I'll get kind of into a lot of that. Have y'all played 5?
I have not.
Okay.
No,
I've
I've read a bunch about it, but I haven't played it yet either. I haven't.
I'll get in some stuff about 5 because it's very interesting because in Peace Walker and Metal Gear Solid 5, he's Kazuhira. Kazuhira, thank you so much, Fred. He's Kazuhira Miller, who is a major character in Peace Walker and 5. And he's kind of the whole reason for revenge in 5. And then I remember back whenever that game came out, people were like, wait, you're telling me Miller just dies off screen in Metal Gear 1? And it's like, yep. And he's a fan favorite, too.
That's funny.
And I still enjoy the Metal Gear fight. I mean, I knew what to do, of course, because I've done this before. You just throw the chaff grenade, shoot the radar with the stinger, and then you get the whole Gray Fox cutscene. But it's still a fun fight.
That Gray Fox cutscene is so awesome, too.
It's sweet to this day.
Oh, man.
I also I don't know if I noticed before, but where he has a gun arm now, where he thinks he's Mega Man,
or Mega Man. Yeah.
Yes, Thomas.
Yeah, I love this is, again, my son was there, and I was like, oh, watch this cutscene, and we sat there and watched it, and I was like, this is awesome. Like, this is such a cool. And then he's like, is he dead? And then, I'm like, yeah, I think he's dead. I think he's dead now.
Can I ask you guys a weird question?
Yeah, what's up?
Did you like my sunglasses? People never believe me when I say all this absurd stuff about Metal Gear, like Snake backflipping off the Hind D missile to shoot it, or baseball throwing a grenade into a tank. Yeah. And I reference that all the time. Where, did you like my sunglasses? And it's like, don't tell me that's actually from Metal Gear. Like, no, it's in there. It doesn't make any sense, but it's in there.
It's such a great disguise. It's just like, you never recognize me with these sunglasses.
Yeah.
I wonder if he wears his sunglasses at night.
He does.
He definitely does, yeah.
It's so stupid. But and then like after you blow up the radar thing, he has to open Metal Gear, and then you just you shoot multiple stingers into his cockpit before he dies. And I mean, again, video game being video game, but still, I'm like, I don't think he'd be okay when the first missile entered where you're sitting. But okay.
In the original, whenever the cockpit opens and you fight him with the open cockpit, you can shoot him with the sniper rifle too. But that's one of the. I was reading the differences. That's one of the things they took out in this version.
Oh, okay.
In this version, the only way to damage him is with the stinger.
It was still cool. Like I like Metal Gear. I think Rex has one of the coolest designs.
Yeah, this is of the different Metal Gears I've seen, it's my favorite of the designs.
So I do love the Shagohod. Oh,
the Shagohod, such a big broad.
Mm-hmm. I mean, the whole point of Metal Gear in this is that you could deploy this big mech wherever you needed to, and it could launch a nuke from its rail cannon, which doesn't, I guess, use propellant, so it wouldn't attract radar. The whole point of this, like why it's so dangerous.
Yeah.
It's a tank with legs.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also love the fact that in Metal Gear Solid 3, there's a reference where the guy has a little Rex on the table because he's the one that came up with the idea for Rex.
Yeah.
But they don't care. They just want the Shagohod. And I'm like, man, it took a long time to build this thing because this is the 90s. And this is in the 60s.
It's expensive.
And Peace Walker.
Metal Gear Solid takes place in 2005.
Oh. Yeah, I forgot that a lot of the Metal Gear games kind of take place during modern day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that's true. So so it was supposed to be 7 years in the future when it came out.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah, that then makes things like, because some of the technology is like more advanced than what actually exists in the 90s, and well, some of it's more advanced than what currently exists, but still, it kind of gives it just that like this is just a little bit in the future kind of thing, which is my favorite kind of future stuff.
There's also a really my favorite thing is there's a line in MGS3 where Naked Snake are talking about Metal Gear, and Naked Snake goes, "Metal Gear? What's that?"
That's great. I love any time they're like winking at the camera, so to speak, like that. Like any time they're making a little fourth wall break.
Game we're playing is called Metal Gear. He's like, "What's that?"
I always laugh when he repeats things people say. And I mean, I've done that to people too that know what I'm talking about. Like it's just funny to me.
Yeah.
But since we're still on the spiel for Liquid, since we're here at this boss fight, there's a lot of things about Liquid that I think is hilarious. For instance, Liquid being blonde, even though they're twins.
Yeah, well, I always took that as that he's the inferior clone. That was what I always kind of thought. It's like
he's trying to say that blondes are inferior. It's a
inferior in that he's not a good copy of Big Boss, because Big Boss has brown hair. So it's like he's messed up somehow. He hasn't, and so that also is like why he's insane. To me, I was just kind of like, well, that's like he's a bad clone.
Yeah.
Here's the weird thing: is I don't know if it's retcon or canon or like a headcanon. Well, technically, Liquid isn't the inferior clone; he's a superior.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, it's in the final call to the president, and depending on the ending you get.
What is it? Apparently, Big Boss's hair is blonde as a child, and it turns brown when he gets older. Yeah.
Interesting.
So
that's complete. I was blonde as a child, and I have almost black hair now. So there you go.
I was a redhead child, and I have black hair now, so I can understand.
Completely possible. There you go.
I was blonde, no brown too.
Yeah. Interesting. I did not know that. That's cool. Like very neat.
But Liquid also survives a 10-foot tall drop on his back too. He survives 4 or 5 things.
At least, I mean, technically, he's surviving getting shot in the face of a Stinger missile. So.
Yeah, that too.
And then he ties you up.
Yeah.
You go through this huge fight, and then somehow you're the one that gets tied up.
Well,
and it's on top of Metal Gear.
There's like an explosion, and you're like knocked out.
Okay, yeah.
Still a little weird though that you're the one that's knocked out.
Well, and then you both end up on top of the Metal Gear. Also, like, did he drag you up there, or is it like you got blown up there? Wasn't clear.
And Meryl's up there too, which I found interesting too. Like he put Meryl up there, and she's still alive. And I was looking at her band-aids. I'm like, I'm gonna be irritated if they didn't tie up both legs because she took 2 shots.
Well, that's actually, I was looking at the things in the original PS1 one. In the cutscenes, her bandages don't match where she was shot, but in this one they do. So, it's pretty neat little like details they did, but then randomly change things like giving her brown hair, even though she shouldn't have brown hair. But
and it's a very Metal Gear thing where you have your little, where you fight him on top of the mech.
Yeah, and it's a good little fight. Like it's that hand to hand. You don't have any items, not even like rations.
Which I didn't. I almost died this part. Well, I didn't die during the fight, but after I finished the fight, there was one ration that you walk by, and the game's like, you should grab that. I'm like, I already have full ration. I didn't. So when I did the final part where you're being chased, I almost died because I didn't have it. I forgot to grab the ration.
Yeah. I think the second time I played on the PS1, I played it on the hardest difficulty, and took me forever to get through the final sequence. But that fist fight is fun. Like, again, it's one of those where if you've done it before, okay, I'm going to knock him down. He's going to jump back up and do a kick in the air as he jumps back up. So I've got to back up and then immediately hit him as soon as he lands again, and he'll fall down again. And you can just sit there and stun lock him to where he never even gets to try to hit you, pretty much. And it's
bull charge.
Oh yeah, it's bull charge. You can actually. I thought you had to jump out of the way of the bull charge every time. That's what I always do. And this time I accidentally punched him, and I don't know if I just got the timing perfect, but just knocked him flat on his ass. He bull charged at me, and I just decked him in the face right as he was about to hit me. I was like, oh, I did not realize I could do that. I thought I was supposed to dodge out of the way. And yeah, I punched his dog tags off, which was nice. I'd never done that before.
There's just so much to this game, and I think that something that there's so many different ways to play, as we've been talking about this whole episode. Like, we all play different ways too.
Yeah, something we didn't talk about it, but with the first person, there's a thing from Metal Gear Solid 2 that they put in, for that, where you can stand right behind someone and you point the gun in first person at the back of their head, and they will it goes like freeze, and they put their hands up, and then you can walk up and you can trank them, you can choke them, whatever. But I completely forgot. I didn't know that was going to be in this, and I did it on accident. And I was like, oh yeah, it's like in Metal Gear Solid 2. That's awesome.
God.
I don't know. I don't know if you can point it at their nuts and make them pee themselves like you can in 2. But
Rich, you remember in 2 we went for all those dog tags?
Yep.
yeah, I tried.
I think we had
that in 2 also.
I think we almost had everything back then.
I think so. Nearly. I don't think we got them all. It was like maybe a few missing,
But yeah, we were trying.
Yeah, I definitely didn't get them all in 2, but that was one of the things I tried to do in 2 also.
You can shoot the radio out of their hands. I know you can do that.
Oh, that's awesome.
I still love when you shoot a guy when he starts talking, but he doesn't finish. And then one time the guy's like, we need, like, intruder. And then he got shot while he's saying, after he said intruder. And they're like, what happened? We lost contact. Like, what do you think happened? You heard him scream on the radio. Ah! Like,
yeah, and I don't know if it's the whole game, but I know that at least near the end, I had to be more careful that I was using tranq darts, because if I shot somebody and killed them, then their like heart rate monitor, I guess, would go off, and their base would be like, where are you? What's happening? Send reinforcements. But if you tranked them, then it didn't happen unless
somebody finds them.
Someone found them. And then, but what I did notice is if you trank someone so they're asleep, and then you throw their body into a bottomless pit, it does not count them as dead. So the security still doesn't come. I did that in the armory. I tranked everyone and dragged them and tossed them in the pits, the pit traps, and it didn't call for reinforcements.
That's funny.
Yeah.
They're like, where'd they go? We don't know. Okay. They fell down our own traps that we put here for them. The only thing really left to talk about the ending, which I didn't know there were multiple endings for this. Or no, the chase. We get talked about the stupid chase. I'm not a fan of this where you get chased in a Jeep and you don't have any of your equipment except for the gauntlet thing, or not gauntlet, but the Gatling gun.
And hopefully 2 rations if you were very studious about grabbing rations.
I had none.
Yeah, there's one outside the Jeep hangar and there's one in the Jeep hangar, I believe. So I had 2 going in the event. I used one of them too, because the part with Liquid isn't hard. It's when you're going down the thing and then she keeps like gliding, like drifting into a stop, yes. And there's 3 guys, and I would just get shot to hell trying to get a beat on those guys that are right up next to you. And of course you can shoot the barrel and blow it up, and then that just gets them.
And that's what did me in too.
So yeah. I didn't hear Ocelot say to shoot the gate out. So whenever you first get in the truck and he's like, shoot the gate to get out of here, I didn't hear it. So I'm sitting there just shooting at these new infinite guys coming in. I'm like, am I supposed to wait for something?
Oh, exactly the same here. Yeah. Yeah, I just kept shooting guys, and I finally shot the gate. Yeah.
Yeah.
I played through it twice before. It's been a while. I just completely forgot about it.
I went for all the barrels, and that's what.
Yeah, that's what I was doing. Actually, I wasn't trying to shoot the gate. I was like, I'm gonna blow up these barrels. This is fun. Boom, and then it opens the gate.
Well, I lost all my health trying to get to the freaking car because you can't. Like, I didn't have any guns, and I was trying to get the Gatling gun, and that's why I kept dying.
I got shot a few times running up to the Jeep and pressing the A button because it's supposed to be the Y button, and I was like, oh wait, Y button. There we go. Mm-hmm. So I lost like half my health doing that.
Yeah, the chase was easy because I would shoot Liquid before he could do anything to me, and that was quick.
Yeah. So again, speaking of Liquid being a freaking immortal, you're like 50 caliber machine gun from like 5 feet away into the face, yep. Over and over again.
Yeah, I don't get how he can just handle all that, but
yeah, but I love that ending, and like the Jeeps flip and everything. His goes off the cliff, yours doesn't quite, and you get Meryl out, and then he comes walking up from behind you. It's like, what? How? Where did you come from?
And the only reason he dies is because the fox die gets to him. He has a heart attack.
Yeah.
Which I'm still.
Is that why his skin is all blackened, or is that from the fire? Because his hand is all like blackened whenever he reaches at you.
I think that might be from the fire.
Yeah.
He did get crispy.
Yeah, he should have.
So what is fox die? Is it just supposed to target like very specific people?
I think so.
I mean, as I understand it, it's a virus engineered by the people that like made you for the purpose of giving you an expiration date, so they don't have to worry about. So they don't have to worry about exactly what happened with Big Boss.
Okay.
Make a super soldier, treat him like shit, turn him into a ultra terrorist. Easier, just inject a virus that will make you eventually die. Like they'll make you age and die, or whatever it does.
Yeah, it
depending on the game.
We see in Metal Gear 4, he died, and kills him.
Yeah, so
makes him old.
Isn't that what happens in Metal Gear 4? Yeah, it makes solid state.
I don't think that's Fox. Is that Fox? I haven't played 4. I
thought that was Fox Die, but I don't remember.
Yeah, Fox Die makes him old, but there's a weird scene where they're like, oh, you're basically a walking nuke, and if you die, you'll pretty much kill anyone within like a 10-mile radius.
Can't remember any.
Yeah, that's bad. That's a bad design choice right there.
That they didn't plan on it.
Yeah.
Someday I really want to play 4 again.
Yeah,
for this show.
I like I said, I've watched the cutscenes for 4, but I don't have a PS3 or a PS4. So
It's not on PS4, so
well, there you go. So I have a broken PS3 that I need to fix, and then I
that
can
game
play
is that game
Or
is
even-
blocked to PS3. It
Yeah.
never got re-released anywhere else. I'm pretty
Well, the PS3 emulation is pretty seamless on PC now. So I'm about to start playing Demon Souls on my PC here the next couple of weeks.
that'd be the best way to play that game with save state.
Yeah.
Oh no, I'm not going to do that.
I will.
That's evil. Oh, you mean Metal Gear Solid 4? Yes. Big
Play
yes.
the game with save state, so I got nothing. But all right, I think that's all. Any last things you want to say about the game before we go on to questions, comments, and memories?
Well, we didn't talk about the ending.
Oh, okay. We can talk about that.
The endings to it. I just got the bare minimum Meryl is alive ending. I know there's others.
So I got the Otacon ending, and the Otacon ending makes a reference to Space Odyssey because Snake's real name is David.
Oh yeah.
Otacon's real name is Huey? Not Huey.
Hal.
Hal. It's Hal. Thank you.
Oh.
Yeah. Who's his dad? That's right. So yeah, it's Huey. It's David and Hal. Yeah, and they laugh about it and they drive off into the sunset.
Yeah, that's the ending I got the first 2 times I've played through the game. This is my third, and yeah, I've got Otacon. There's when you get the phone call to the president.
Yes, we should talk about that. I think because that's a really good thing where that's when you find out that he wasn't who you thought he was.
Right.
He's working with somebody else. Thank you, Mr. President. The very last thing he says.
Like, the president's in this.
It's so weird.
The president being the first cloned big boss.
Yeah, that's interesting.
That doesn't come out to the second game though.
Yeah.
Because they don't talk about that.
So I was reading on it, and so in the original PlayStation version, there's you can unlock extra dialogue where they talk about Snake being the inferior clone, and
that's
talk about the president being Solidus, and Ocelot is ordered to place the woman under surveillance. The woman, I guess that's supposed to be Meryl. And they said in GameCube version, you get the same no matter what you do. The ending is the same with the post credits phone call. I didn't actually stay past the credits this time, so I didn't know what they said this time.
Okay.
There's not a whole lot that he says.
Yeah, but in the PS1 one, there's extra dialogue but it depends on which ending you get. So I think it's Meryl has to be alive for you to get that. I think because I don't recall that part. I've just read about it before.
But they don't actually mention the name Solidus, right?
No.
Well, I don't know. It says
No.
President being a third clone known as Solidus is what
Maybe.
I'm just reading on the wiki.
Because I don't remember at all them having that name at that time. So that might be wrong.
No, yeah. They just end up, what is it? It's just the president ends up being Solidus sequel, and it's the whole there was a third clone and everything else.
Yeah.
That's gonna be a fun one to talk about.
That one's a lot longer too.
If you watch the cutscenes.
Right.
Are you talking about MGS2 or?
Yeah, MGS2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like MGS2 a lot.
Yeah,
though,
two definitely feels way longer. I'm sure it is longer, but
do we know what the canon ending is supposed to be of this game?
I think
survived.
Yeah, Meryl surviving is the canon because she's still alive. She's still alive in 4, right?
Yeah.
Because she didn't show up in 2, so people thought she was dead until 4 when they bring her.
Yeah, and well, that's the thing. The beginning of 2 would make you think that the Otacon ending is because if you get the Otacon ending in this one, you and Otacon drive off into the sunset like, oh, we're going to be pals. And then part 2 starts off, Otacon's helping Snake. The two of them are like a 2-man mercenary or 2-man, I don't know what you would call it, team.
Anti-Metal Gear team.
Anti-Metal Gear, terrorists. I don't know.
Well, I mean, they are terrorists, so yeah.
they are terrorists.
Yeah. So, but exactly. So the beginning of 2 makes it seem like Otacon was supposed to be, which, Otacon survives either way. If you save Meryl, then Otacon's like, I'm going to hang out here. It's like, what? Why?
There's also the weird thing, which I guess technically is still supposed to leave it ambiguous, because Snake has the infinite headband at the end of 2 as well.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Ammo.
Yeah.
That's right. And it's you get that for saving Meryl and then playing again. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So then that's kind of that. I see what you're saying. So the fact that he's wearing that headband indicates that he's okay. Yeah, that's neat.
Okay.
I like that.
All right, that everything I think we need to say for this before we go to questions then. I got a few. I got a decent amount of memories actually, so I'm not gonna read them all, but I'll read some. First, I watched the entire Overlord Super replay. I got, let's see, from Tony Delgado. Metal Gear Solid is my favorite game ever, so I'm a bit biased, but I hate Twin Snakes. I absolutely loathe it. It tries to improve the experience of the first game, but fundamentally misses so much of what makes Metal Gear Solid great. The cutscene, the cinematography, the soundtrack, the voice acting, the tone and ambience. From the very first cutscene of Twin Snakes, the voice actors sound tired and uninspired compared to the original, and the cinematography feels sickening with the crazy, nauseating flying, out of control, camera zooming in and out of people's faces, and this is all before the nonsense action pieces. Twin Snakes adds. Twin Snakes feels similar to the Lion King remake. It has the same characters and general story, but something fundamental to the experience was lost in the adaptation.
Okay.
Yeah,
I don't agree with it, but I get it.
Yeah, I disagree, but I think I get where he's coming from, but I disagree.
I don't fully agree with it, but I do understand the part where he's talking about the voice actor's performance. There are certain times I felt that the scene didn't match the intensity of the voice actor. So especially with Liquid speaking to Snake at the end on top of Rex, he could have been a lot more aggressive, a lot more vocal. It was just kind of hand.
And they made some changes with it too that are like, some of them make sense and are good, and some of it's like, well, why?
I'm a total cheese master, so I understand where the whole I'm not liking the whole Matrix cutscenes comes from, at least.
I love them, but yeah.
I thought they were extra silly and fun.
And from Rise Mahanic, friend of the show, personally, I don't care for it at all next to the original. I find the gameplay changes break the level design in ways I don't like. I don't care for the recontextualization of Snake as an over-the-top missile kick-flipping action hero. Yeah, okay, we'll say something about that. And I think the new voice performances are generally weaker. I also really, really dislike the new musical score. I do think the new environment work looks good, even if I don't like how some of the character models look artistically. I forgot about the part where you're fighting the Hind D and he jumps on the missile, jumps off the missile and shoots a missile at the Hind D.
Yeah, we mentioned it in passing that he does that, but that's new. There's a few of those that are new. They added a few new things like that.
No one believes me when I told them it happens, but it happened. Snake kickflips off a missile, and yeah.
See, behavior like that from Gray Fox makes sense, but not necessarily Snake. And yeah, I realize that he did the same kind of stuff in Smash Brothers, but still.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things of like, if I took this game at all seriously, I would be annoyed by it. But it's just Kojima, his whole thing is just ridiculous, over the top everything. So I'm like, yeah, no, that fits. That's fine. Sure. But I get it. I get why that would be annoying to people.
And from Dominant Chikogi, aside from the graphical upgrades, are the differences from the PS1 game really that egregious? In my memory, it's mostly the same game, but with better controls and a few cutscene changes. I agree with him.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say, if you go on the wiki and look at the differences, it's like it would fill like 5 pages of a Word document. It's a lot of differences, but they're mostly just making the game easier, but in a way that's more convenient. And to me, the thing is you could, if you're finding it too easy, if you set it to the harder difficulties, I mean, it makes some significant changes. Like the hardest difficulty, you don't have radar.
Ooh.
Imagine playing this game without radar, without being able to see people's vision cones. That's, you have to go purely by rumble to be able to tell. And then you have to have the AP sensor equipped the whole time to be able to even tell when people are there. So, I mean, but you could do that. So I don't know. There are a lot of, and I liked a lot of the things, like them adding the lockers from 2 and being able to put people in the lockers or be able to hide in the lockers yourself and things like that. I was really happy if at all. I mean, the first person camera does break it if you abuse it, and it's easy to abuse. But
personally, it's hard to go back to the original when after this came out, just because of those gameplay changes and the controller changes and all that. They just try to modernize and like have it up to the standard that people now expect from like 2 and 3. That's what they wanted to present here. Like, how could you go back to reflecting almost the original, even with this new cutscenes and things like that?
Yeah, and that is the thing. A lot of the difficulty of the original isn't necessarily on purpose. You know what I mean? Like we had already had first person control stuff in Kojima had done that in Police Knots. There's like first person shooting stuff. Sequences, like shooting gallery type stuff. And I think that if he had the option to do the first person camera like shooting stuff, he probably would have done it. Maybe not, I don't know. But it feels like some of the difficulty of the first is just down to the controls being a little archaic.
Right.
Yeah. And from last question from this group, or last comment from Quentin Crow, the bastard child. And from Nintendo GameCube enthusiasts, I got a couple. From Chandler Lawrence, this and Remake really show the jump from the 5th to 6th generation, as well as a showcase of the power of the little cube that could. Yeah, because Resident Evil Remake is something else too. And this one from Colin Joseph Lucas, your mom found a podcast? And from Rafael Lima, I recently bought this game about a few weeks ago. It was ridiculously expensive. He's right. Like I was saying earlier, $120.
Oh.
So, and then last group I'm going to read from Metal Gear Solid Outer Heaven, from Antonio Rivera. I wish this could be released on PlayStation. Same. Mm-hmm. I mean, this really should be re-released. It won't be, but I wish it would be.
Yeah.
Because one, Konami, so they can't re-release stuff.
And Nintendo also, they don't like to re-release stuff they do with other people, I think, as much.
Yeah. They probably have to give away some of the money, so they're like, nope, fuck you. We won't make any money to give you, bastards, I guess. And from Gerard Wardlow, I would slap mine and your mama play Metal Gear on the Switch. Okay. Okay. And from Muriel Campoli, somebody knows how to properly emulate this on PC? Yes, many people do. Use Google. And from Hassel Bryant, this is my favorite Metal Gear game. I never knew how much people hate it until I joined this group. It was like living the original beautifully. I have no idea why it's hated. Love this game.
I didn't know it was hated either until more recently.
Yeah, that's really weird.
Yeah. I didn't know either until I saw people when I was asking about it. People were like, man, they had things to say that were bad. And I'm like, why? This is a good game. It's a good remake.
Yeah, it is. It's a great remake. But I get, as someone who, like, my favorite genre of games is Dark Souls. And in that community, there's definitely a contingent of people who, if anything becomes easier, they just hate it. They're like, in Dark Souls 3, you can teleport between every bonfire. You can fast travel, and people they hate it. They're like, I hate that you can fast travel like that. And I'm like, come on, seriously? Does it make the game better that you have to run everywhere? Like,
some people just, like stuff that hasn't changed, I guess. And from Elvis Gemini, the only thing that sucks about this is the exaggerated cutscenes and the Rush voice track. I didn't notice the voice track, but the cutscenes are great. So
I get it though.
Yeah. From Sean Ferguson, how good is the gameplay? Very good, I think.
Yeah.
It's aged okay.
And I have just a couple more from Manuel Logo. I just finished this game yesterday and probably will play it again now that I got the stealth camouflage. You should. And from Jasper Pua, great Metal Gear game. The music is its weakest point, which we haven't really talked about. I didn't really pay attention to music because it's me.
I didn't notice. I didn't even notice. Is it like significantly different?
I want to say maybe. I know Konami got in a lot of trouble because I do know the theme for Metal Gear Solid 2. Before Metal Gear Solid 4 came out, they found out that the theme was actually stolen from some Russian piano player.
Oh.
And also, I think a couple of the songs are from Speed. So maybe that's why the soundtrack's a little bland, because they realized it. Who knows?
That is.
When did Speed come out? Was that like 96?
Yeah.
Around that time that the original came out?
Oh, it's before, because I remember Speed 2 came out when I was in high school, and this game came out when I was in high school. So it's
1994.
Yeah. So that's 4 years earlier. Yeah. That makes sense. That makes sense. Kojima saw Speed. He's like, oh, that's cool. Let's put that in there.
Nah, but okay.
That sounds like a Kojima interest for sure.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
The movie's not good.
It's not that bad.
If
I don't remember very well.
If no one saw the movie, then they're not going to know what my soundtrack's from.
And I think this will be the last one I read from John Kong. Graphically impressive for its time, except for Otacon that did him dirty. Cheesy, over-the-top action, different take on Snake and Friends. What's not to love about it? Apparently a lot for some people.
Oh, I agree with this guy, man.
That's what Metal Gear became. Metal Gear, from 2 on, is cheesy action. Hell, in Metal Gear Solid 3, every enemy you beat blows up for what? No reason, they just do.
Yeah, you want realism? Go play Splinter Cell or something.
So one thing I totally forgot, and I can't believe none of us mentioned it this entire podcast, the part where you can't use weapons in the nuke part.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I actually used a box to sneak through, and the enemies just walked right past me, and I got to the elevator, and I was in front of the elevator in a box as someone kept walking past me till the elevator got there. So, it's a cheesy game.
I use the boxes extensively. I do like that you have different boxes, and they'll be more suspicious of boxes that don't fit that room, that building. I think is neat.
I shot him with the M9. Problem solved. The M9 you can use.
One thing, I guess it makes sense, but I don't like if you go up the stairs in the box, you just fully stand up while you're walking up the stairs. You can't like fall up the stairs. And so like I specifically in the nuke room going up to the elevator, you can't see the guard who's walking in front of the elevator. You can't see him on the radar or with first person if you're at the bottom of the stairs and he's at the top of the stairs. And so I like 2 or 3 times went up those stairs and he saw me going up the stairs because he could see me standing up. So, but yeah, I definitely in the PS1 version too, just completely abused the box and just run around.
Okay, yeah, I can see that being annoying too.
Yeah.
All right, and that brings us to shelf stacker box. And Rich, what about you?
I would shelf it. I mean, when it comes to MGS1 in general, this seems like the current like definitive version of it, and I'm okay with that. The over-the-top deal where people are complaining, I think it's fine. Is it a little dated, even at the time for Matrix references? Yeah. Should Snake be jumping off of missiles and flipping over corridors and stuff like that? Definitely not. But no, I like the game a lot, and I would keep it on the shelf.
Okay. How about you, Joe?
Shelf, because what's wrong with non-excuse of, hey, hello, new friend coming over. How's it going? Oh, you've never heard of Metal Gear? Let me tell you what. Let me just pull out the first one, dust off this GameCube, and let's just get into it for an afternoon.
Okay. What about you, Kerry?
100% shelf. Yeah, this is my new favorite version of the game. I'm keeping it on my computer and everything. I'm going to play it again.
I'm glad I did that to you.
Yeah.
I'm really glad that I introduced, some of you guys to this game. And hopefully people listening to this, I introduce you to it, because this is a game that play it any way you can, in the words of SNES Drunk, because you need to play it if you like Metal Gear. And it ain't coming out again, so you need to find other ways to play it.
Yeah.
Which is really cool.
Even if you don't play it and you just watch the like movies, like the edited movies on like YouTube, it's still very entertaining.
Yeah.
Just that alone, like the story of the characters, it almost feels like just watching a movie as you're playing this, as almost every Metal Gear does.
Yeah, and it really does hold up, and I think it holds up better than the PS1 version. Honestly.
Agreed. Yeah.
Yeah, because it just it has so much quality of life stuff to it, and play the PS1 version also, at some point, but you'll probably find that this version it's hard to go back from, probably.
Yeah, so if you're gonna play the PS1 version, maybe do that first, go into this one.
I agree with that too, because I originally played the first one. Well, no, I played this one, then I went back and played the first one for the show, then I went and played this one too for the show, because I just felt that it helped.
Nice.
All right, and I'll go last. I'm also going to put this on the shelf too. I had a lot of fun playing this game again, even though I played on very easy and I cheat, as people would say. But I had a blast. I had a lot of fun playing it, and I think this is the definite version, just because of having the ability to have these cutscenes that fit where Metal Gear goes after this. Just everything about this game I felt was just fine for what it was, and I had a great time playing it. So, going on the shelf, and I'm really glad we covered it.
Yeah.
All right, and then the only other couple of things left to do is one. And if you need more Metal Gear action, you can listen to some of our previous episodes. We covered Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater, episode 109, Metal Gear Solid, episode 57, Metal Gear 2 Solid Snake, episode 51, and then our first Metal Gear episode, Metal Gear Ghost Babel for Game Boy Color, episode 7. So check those out if you need some more Metal Gear. As I said at the top of the show, you have only a couple days to vote in our Patreon poll. You get to decide what anime pilot test we're going to cover. Case Closed, Cowboy Bebop, Outlaw Star, or Akuma no Riddle. So please, as little as $1, you can go vote in our Patreon. So please go do that. And also, next week, we are coming at you with Batman Arkham Origins.
Nice.
That game gets a lot of shit talked about, but I've been playing it off and on the last couple of days. That game is really good still. So
I will say, I hated it when it came out, but when I played it last year, more recently, man, it actually was pretty decent.
Yeah, it's just kind of like I just ate, a good steak ribeye. What's this sirloin shit? It's still steak.
Yeah.
It's still great.
Right.
It gets a lot of hate it doesn't deserve.
Yeah.
Yeah, really. You're coming off of what? Arkham City. So Arkham City was probably one of the best in the series.
Yeah.
So it's hard to match up, but it's still good.
Yeah.
There's one thing I hate about the game.
So it's something I'm very excited to talk about, because we've been doing a lot of Arkham stuff on this show before, so it'll be nice to go back and play that too.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So, all right, so definitely go listen for that episode. That will be out next week when you're hearing this. And Kerry, where can people find you at?
Hey, all right. So I'm on Twitch, Kerooseta, Kerooseta. You can see me playing, Dark Souls games and occasionally doing some console repairs and modifications in my workshop. I do a lot of that. And that's the main place. I also YouTube, same name.
And you will see a link in the show notes to his channel. Joe, did you have anything to plug? I can't remember.
Not really. I just have I'm around.
Okay. All right. And then I also want to give a shout out to my co-host of the Marvel stuff, Bill Tucker. He started his podcast recently, A Gamer Looks at 40, so definitely go check that out. It's a lot different than this show, much more edited, much more of a documentary series versus what this is, but definitely go check it out. It's very good. And you will see a link in the show notes to his podcast. And also want to give a shout out to our awesome intro and outro, courtesy of Bobby, aka Mike 20 from the ZP Bite the Bullet song, The Cool Kid Squad, that you've been hearing. Depending on how long you listen to us, 200 times in your ears. He's been on here. So definitely go check him out. And please follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and on YouTube. We are on YouTube finally. I mean, it's just audio, but we're on YouTube. And as I said before, go on our Patreon. So I think that's everything I need to say. So we will see you guys all next time. Bye, everybody.
See ya. Thanks.
Bye.